Wrong in 6 of his past 7 majors. By the way, Rory McIlroy also missed the cut. The Blitz starts right now.
Joe Machota
in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions. They go back to Big Day, a Super Bowl champion. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is Friday. We made it. The weekend is just about here. Hopefully for some of y'all, the weekend is already here and you're off and enjoying a Friday afternoon. Thank you for spending time with us. My name is Joe Reinagle. James Pledger is pushing all the buttons in there in the glass box of fun. Jason Minix, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's in New York City somewhere doing something. Looks like he's just eating his way through Queens or New York with some of the pictures that he's been posting, but hopefully he's having a good time, taking the day off. He'll be back with us on Monday, but we got a lot to talk about today, man. I tell you what, doing this show, even when it is in the dead of summer, when it's supposedly not supposed to be any content, right? There always seems to be something that pops up, and today is no exception. I'm going to tell you what, it is just it's one of those days. Stephen Jones finally talks a little bit about Dak Prescott, about CeeDee Lamb. The Texans are in the middle of training camp, getting ready for the Hall of Fame game against the Chicago Bears. We got some Spurs stuff we're going to be talking about as well, because Victor Wembanyama is getting a lot of love from the national media. So all of that is coming up here on the Blitz today. And of course, as always, you guys are always invited to participate, chime in, whatever it is you want to do and however it is you want to do it. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for doing that. Subscribe and like our YouTube page. Please do that. If you're out and about in San Antonio, I hope the rain has stopped. It looked like it was about to when I pulled up to the station today. Some of the clouds had parted and looked like some sunshine out there. So I hope it's getting a little bit better out there. But either way, be careful. But you can always call the show. Do it the old-fashioned way, right? Our phone number, 656-ESPN. That's 656-3776. You can also get me on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210. So I woke up today, and I know everybody saw this thing, but the whole outage, right? And the flights were canceled and people all over the airport. Can you imagine? I hope nobody out there listening today had a flight that they were going to try and take. Now, I understand that everything is being fixed, but you know that things are still a mess, especially at the major airports. So I hope you're not planning to take a flight today. Hopefully by tomorrow, everything will be ironed out and worked out. But that was just kind of weird, because not only was it the airports, it was I saw some banks, some 911 call centers had some stuff out. It affected a lot of different businesses and stuff like that. So that's just really weird. I hope that was nothing nefarious, although I heard that it wasn't. It was just an outage, but still, that's scary. If somebody got into something like that, or the electric grid or whatever, it would be kind of creepy and scary. So hopefully it's nothing like that, and I hope it hasn't affected anybody that's listening here today. I got to tell you something. I'm saying this at the risk of insulting some of you, which I don't really have a problem with, to be honest with you. It's what we do here. But I'm driving into work today, and I wasn't even thinking about it, and I'd already had this thought before, and I don't think we've talked about it here on the Blitz. But someone had just purchased a brand new Tesla truck. You know what I'm talking about? Those trucks. I guess they call them trucks. But they look like I don't even know what the hell they look like. And I don't even know how much they cost. I would assume that they're pretty pricey, it would seem to me. All right. That is the ugliest vehicle I think I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not exactly sure what the point of it is, other than it's an electric truck. Now, I have seen the inside of it. They had it at one of the Fiesta events, and the inside is not bad at all. But the outside looks like, I don't know what it looks like. I always said that too about the Mercedes G-Wagon. Have you seen that Mercedes G-Wagon? The ugliest vehicles on the road.
I don't like the G-Wagon.
The G-Wagon.
I don't like the Tesla truck, but I like the G-Wagon.
And we're going to have to look it up, Pledge, because I'm not sure how much a Tesla truck is. I would assume pricey, but I'm obviously depending on how much, how many fancy bells and whistles that you get and you put in there. But I'm looking at this thing because I'm stopped at a red light, and it's like I'm in the left-hand lane, and the truck's in the right-hand lane, just one car ahead of me, and I'm sitting there looking at that thing going, and it's got the brand new paper plates on it, so somebody had just gotten that thing the last couple. I bought a truck just because you're supposed to, right? Just because you're supposed to buy a truck. And I had it was one of those little Chevy midsize trucks. But, man, I don't know. I didn't like it. So as soon as I could, I got rid of it, got a new car. I'm sorry, kind of. It's just ugly. Now, Ryan has just put up a poll on our YouTube page. If you're on there, do you like G-Wagons? And right now it's a little bit split between the two. There's only 5 votes, so get on there and vote on that if you do. It was the first time I was ever introduced. This was back when she was in high school. And she said she wanted a G-Wagon, and I had never heard of a G-Wagon. And so I looked at that. Electric.
Yeah, the Cyber Beast, they're about $80,000.
Yeah, well, he says base.
Yeah, that's what starting point.
Some bells and whistles on that thing, and God bless you. You go for it, and you do you, and all of those kind of things. But man, and you drive it off, and you got the paper license plates on there, and you're feeling pretty. Yeah, that's me. I got my.
I always hated paper plates.
Thing comes in when you're real.
It feels like it cheapens what you just bought.
Looking at this thing, going, I know they're happy, but man, that is just one ugly.
By the way, G-Wagon started about $143.
Now, I can't even imagine paying $143,000 for a G-Wagon. G-Wagon.
It's a fancy Land Rover is basically what it is.
I guess, but it doesn't even look that good. I hope it's got a butler inside and a maid and room service and all of that kind of stuff. And if it does,
I mean, it's not a Bentley.
Man, $150 base price? That's outrageous. But hey, again, you do you. Does anybody out there have one of these things? Either a Cyber Beast. I do like the name though, Cyber Beast. That kind of makes it look a little bit better. But my goodness, I just don't get it. Hey, but that's everything. And I'd probably buy some stuff that y'all wouldn't get. It's like, how the hell can you do that or buy that or that looks good to you? I don't know. It's like my new Australian hat that I bought. I love it. And I can't wait to wear it now. Whenever I can get back out on the golf course, and I hope that's very soon. But, you know, some of y'all might not like that. I personally do. I don't know. Now, Brian, I'm not sure how to say your last name, and I don't want to butcher it. Is it Oligog? I want to try that. He says a G-Wagon is just an upgraded Jeep. I don't know, man. Those things are not very attractive, at least in my eyes. But if you've got one, God bless you. And as long as you...
Man, I can't believe you roll around in a 97 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
You know what? Don't knock those. I used to love Oldsmobiles, and they don't make them anymore. Right? I mean, Oldsmobiles were they were kind of a cool car. They were kind of the Lexus back in the day before there was a Lexus. The Oldsmobile. So I didn't mind those. My favorite car of all time was a Chevy Monte Carlo. And I loved that car. It was a 1980 model. Yeah, and it was, I loved it. It was great. And so that's a favorite car I've had. I had a 73 Mustang when I was in high school that was pretty cool, but that Monte Carlo, man,
So if you ever
that was the ride
audio,
for
see
me.
what sounds better.
So I don't know what you guys are tooling around in or what your first car was. If you want to mention that or let us know, do that. I think it's kind of cool to remember that because does everybody remember their first car? And the first car of that, because I got that car actually here in San Antonio. My grandfather and my dad, we were at one of the corner. I was 16. Used car lots here in San Antonio. My dad, the car was $2,500. 1973 Ford Mustang, bright yellow.
Ooh.
It was yellow. Thing and
Mustang.
put a stereo in there with big giant speakers in the back. And you know, back then, man, you think you're just a bad dude.
Have cigarettes curled up in your sleeve.
Correct guy, but I thought I was a bad dude, and the girls in Alice loved it. Man, I'm telling you, those were the...
I remember my first car, and I remember what I got and what I could have had, which is still my greatest regret to this day. 1985 two-door Chevy Blazer. Blue. My dad wanted to get a 1967 Impala and fix it up together.
That would have been 67 Impala. Wow.
And fix it up together. So I would have learned how to work on cars. Would have got to spend more quality time with my dado, and I would have had a cool car. 67 Impala.
Knuckleheads.
Oh yeah. I want it now.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the way it is. My only regret, and I was kind of low on the totem pole. My grandfather had and I want to say it was a 1976 Buick Regal, and he bought this car and never drove it. He had it for about 10 years, and it had like 7,500 miles on it. It was just crazy. You would just take my grandmother to the grocery store, and then they would come home, and that was about it. So he had this thing for a long time. So when he died, when he passed away, I mean, everybody in the family wanted that car, right? I wanted it, but I was like I say, I was kind of low man on the pole with all the cousins and and everybody. So I didn't get it. Man, that was a fine looking car.
San Antonio Sports Star, hold place.
And it was really
San Antonio
cool
Sports Star, hold place.
I mean, there was not a nick or a scratch on that.
San Antonio Sports
And
Star, what's your name?
It had less than 10,000
Hey, it's
miles on
Joseph,
it.
man. I had a
That's what they
78
do. So
Trans
somebody got a
Am,
pretty good
man.
deal on that.
All right.
I was hooked on that
I
Retro
like
movie.
talking about cars.
All right,
and
well,
what
hold on a sec, Joseph.
what people like to drive and what I had.
Hold on
I'll
a
never
sec,
forget
Joseph.
That 1980 Monte Carlo, man. I love that car. That was
San Antonio Sports Star.
I've had some pretty nice ones
What up,
throughout the years. But
What's
that
up,
Monte
Lloyd?
Carlo was just
I was wondering
absolutely
if you guys have time to talk to me about the cars.
You got it. Hold on. Before we get into Jerry or Stephen Jones's comments here in just a little bit, Tiger Woods did not make the cut. All right, 14 over par. 6 of his last 7 majors, he has not made the cut. You know, I've been a loudmouth talking about Tiger. I hate to see that. I really hate to see how the mighty have fallen, but he did. But also, Rory McIlroy didn't make the cut today either, and he was terrible. I think 13 over for the past 2 days. But he Pledge is already all over me. Says that I need to be passionate about calling for Rory McIlroy now to retire. But you know, it's just the way that it is, right? Tiger, I wish he would step down. He's not going to do it, but anyway, he's not going to be around for the weekend at the Open Championship. We've been talking about cars. I asked you to call in, so I want to take these calls before we go to a break. 656 ESPN 656-3776. Let's go to the phone lines now. Joseph, talk to me about your car, my man.
Hey, buddy, I had a Cutting Spring Burn, man. With my blue with the white pinstripes. Oh, man, she was clean.
Nice.
And I also had another one that had my Trans Am in silver with the full head on it. And had that bird. Oh, that was badass.
Now, wait a minute. That was that like from the old Smokey and the Bandit days? Kind of like
that's why I bought it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that bought one for the same exact reason. Joseph, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate that. Lloyd is on our phone lines now. Lloyd, what kind of car were you tooling around in as a kid?
Hey, Joe and Pledge, thanks for taking my call. I was tooling around in an old yellow bus, dude. But what I called in for, truth be told, was, you know, being a Chargers fan, my dad said, you know, before I pass, I want to see the Chargers win a Super Bowl like that in 1954 Impala where he lost his you-know-what. I said, Dad, you got a better chance of getting that Impala than the Chargers win the Super Bowl. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. That is true. Appreciate the phone call, Lloyd. It's kind of cool, man, talking about that first car. I know everybody's got special memories of that first car, man. I certainly did. Woo! No fixing out. Hey. Woo! It was fun. Hey, Stephen Jones talked a little bit about today about the contract situation between Dak and CD and all of those folks, but also Victor Wembanyama. What is the forecast nationally for Wemby winning MVPs, NBA titles, Olympic medals, so on and so forth? And what do the Spurs really think of Stephon Castle? We're going to talk about all of that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Talk.
94.1, the John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolfpack.
Well, it's recording. I don't want me to change anything.
We're going to need to
End it, right?
end it and restart it.
Digital devices. Only New Nordic uses wild Swedish blueberries because of their superior concentration of color pigments, which are vital to eye function and health. New Nordic's blueberry eye supplements are Scandinavia's #1 selling natural eye formula, but now you can find them at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. Enjoy healthy vision with New Nordic's blueberry eye supplements. Available now at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com.
PSAOG Orthopedics and Spine is excited to announce a partnership that is revolutionizing access to care for orthopedic patients. The HURT app provides free 24/7 access to orthopedic expertise. Hurt is the app to have before you need it. Don't wait for an injury to happen. Download Hurt now for free, fast virtual access to orthopedic specialists. The Hurt app is available online in the App Store and Google Play. Learn more about the Hurt app and the OrthoNow Injury Clinic at tsaog.com.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
You get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Get a $10 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil in-store or online.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Morning Huddle.
You know you've gotten old.
I do.
When you're comfortable having a conversation on speakerphone with other people in the room.
There was intent behind that. Trying to use you as like a fullback, like a blocker.
A shield
to kind of get me off the phone.
Well, Minix didn't care.
No, he didn't. So we just carried on. And by that point, I was committed.
They're talking about this concert. Minix says, does AJ want to go to this show tomorrow? And Rob says, AJ, you want to go to a show tomorrow? And I say, what is it? And Rob says, yeah, he's in. What?
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings, 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Kind of a nice Friday too, right? Kind of chill. Hope everybody's doing okay out there on a Friday afternoon. Hopefully you got some big weekend plans, or maybe you don't. Sometimes that's the best way to spend a weekend, just chilling out. For the first time in a long time, really no plans this weekend. Pretty happy about that. The only thing, I got dinner with my brother and sister-in-law because my brother's birthday was yesterday. My sister-in-law's birthday is at the end of the month. So we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. And Maggie and I are going to take them both out to dinner on Sunday night. And that way we got that taken care of.
I envy you.
You do?
Yeah, I thought I had nothing going this weekend.
Yeah?
And I was really excited about it.
What happened?
My sister, nieces, nephew, brother-in-law all come to town. So I'm going to have to go out and see them.
You're going to have to go see them, entertain. Be nice, Pledge. I hope you get rid of whatever you got going on. You've been hacking up a lung over here today.
What? Me?
Yeah. Poor Pledge. I thought you were good, man.
I feel good, but there is an excess of mucus.
Something, right? Yeah. It's all right. That's okay, Pledge. You're doing okay.
And it's all pooling right there.
As long as I don't get sick. Happier there's a big glass wall in between us today. That's nice. Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Well, are allergies contagious?
I have no idea. I don't think so. Because look, dude, I get allergies, as you know. It was not too long ago where I couldn't talk. So I feel badly for you, Pledge. You have a show today?
I do.
You did, but is it a full hour?
No, just 30 minutes.
30 minutes, because baseball's back.
Rangers are back, baby.
Yeah, baseball's back.
Astros are back. Just a game back.
All-Star break. Yeah, it's going to be a nice race between those three teams, Seattle, Houston, and Texas, as we go down the stretch and kick things off here in Major League Baseball. Want to talk a little NBA basketball, though, and in particular, our favorite subject here in San Antonio and South Texas, and that's Victor Wembanyama. There's an article on ESPN today, and it's written by nobody in particular, but it just the entire ESPN staff. And I found it interesting because it's a Victor Wembanyama forecast. And what they're saying is they're predicting how many MVP awards this guy's going to win, how many NBA titles he's going to win. They even go to Olympic medals. Now, look, Wemby's not going to win an Olympic medal, at least not a gold medal this year. And I think everybody else in the Olympics is playing for the silver because the United States is pretty dominant when it comes to the Olympics this year in basketball. I don't think there's any way possible Team USA does not win the gold. So maybe Wemby gets his silver medal this year, maybe a bronze, who knows? But I think everybody else is playing for second place. Having said that, I thought this was kind of cool, and I'd like to kind of know what you guys think. Again, the phone lines are always open at 656 ESPN, 656-3776. On Twitter, it's Joe Reinagle 210. And if you're watching and listening on our YouTube page, you can also always comment there. But the first question they start out with is a pretty good one. It says Victor Wembanyama will be the best player in the NBA by blank season, right? So it's kind of a multiple choice, but they put a percentage on it. For example, next year, they don't think Victor will be the best player in the NBA. They give him a 15.8% chance of being that. According to the ESPN experts, they think that Wemby will be the best player in the NBA in the 26-27 season. Not next year, but the year after that. They give him a 42% chance then, and then a 32% chance in 27-28. So not next year, but the year after.
So not the magical year of 2025?
I know, which really surprises me because I thought that was the year that, dogs were going to fall out of the sky and we see rainbows and unicorns and the best basketball players ever made just falling out of the sky. So it really surprises me. But that's what they think. 26-27, Wemby will be the best player in the NBA. I found that fascinating. Now, the next question they ask is how many NBA titles will Wemby win? I thought that was fascinating. And they've got a little write-ups, right? But, obviously Wemby, as good as he is, needs help. And everybody tells me that's what the Spurs are trying to do right now is get him some help. So how many NBA titles will Victor Wembanyama win? And again, it's percentages. One title, 26% chance, according to ESPN. Two titles, a 37% chance. Three, a 32% chance. So somewhere between 2 and 3 is what ESPN is predicting. Now, and hope that it's a little bit more than that. Tim Duncan won 5. Tony Parker, Monty Ginobili won 4. So I'm hoping Wemby will be somewhere in that range, right? From the 4 to 5 range, maybe 6. Who knows? And again, it depends on what the Spurs do and how the moves that they make pan out. So it remains to be seen. But the consensus here is 2 with a pretty close 3, which, okay, that's pretty conservative in my mind. Next question. How many MVP awards will Wemby win? That I thought was fascinating. Now, according to ESPN, one MVP award is 10.5%. 2, 16%. 3 is the winner in this particular survey at 63%, according to ESPN as they finish this. Now, you can finish your own, right? You can put in your own because they leave it blank. But their consensus is that Wemby, before his career is over, will win 3 Most Valuable Player awards. You see, it's kind of interesting because, I mean, look, you look into a crystal ball, you look into the future, and you try and figure this thing out. Now, here's a more immediate question. The Spurs will finish blank in the Western Conference in 24-25. What place will the Spurs end up in the Western Conference this upcoming season? Of course, they went 22-60 last year, which was not good. But they've made some improvements, at least for this year, certainly with Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes. So, a spot in the play-in tournament, well, 79% chance of that, according to ESPN. Outside the postseason, nobody thinks the Spurs, or it's a very slight chance at 21%. Now, when you look at that, most of the experts, or so-called, at ESPN believe that the Spurs will be in the playoffs in some form or fashion. Most of them think the play-in tournament this year. What do you guys think about that?
Wow.
Do you think the Spurs will be good enough to be in the play-in tournament? And now keep in mind, last year, the last team to get in was Golden State with 46 wins.
And they got better.
Who got better?
Golden State?
This year?
Wouldn't you say?
Perhaps.
I think they added pieces that are more suited.
Well, and especially if they end up winning the Rory marketing sweepstakes.
Well, yeah, but I just mean Kyle Anderson, Malik Monk,
They had to, though, right, Pledge? I mean, they had to, because you got to figure Steph Curry doesn't have too many years left. Draymond Green certainly doesn't have too many years left. So you're trying to win now before those guys ride off into the sunset.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens. But I'm just saying, for the Spurs, that's the number you have to shoot for in the Western Conference, is 46 wins. Do you think the Spurs will win 46 games this year? I mean, that's a pretty high number, and that's a 24-game improvement over what they did last year. A lot of that I think is going to depend. Look, Wemby's going to be better. There's no question about that. I think Devin Vassell will be better. Those two together will be better. Jeremy Sohan, Wemby, and Vassell will be better together. Being the veteran that he is and the future Hall of Famer, Chris Paul, I don't think he's going to have much of an adjustment period when it comes to playing with Victor Wembanyama. And then you've got Harrison Barnes, who is going to help tremendously just because of what he can do from the outside, shooting-wise, something that the Spurs lacked last year. So I like that move in particular, and I think that will certainly contribute to a few more wins.
You do the 46-win exercise. I like to look at the teams that were just ahead of them, and if they've jumped past any of those teams, right, from the standings last year.
Yeah.
Because wins are very fluid and in flux, right?
Sure.
Change year to year. But Memphis is a team in front of them. But Memphis was hurt all year, so you got to imagine with Ja Morant and all of their players healthy, that was a team that was second in the West a couple of years ago.
That's right, and Ja will be back.
So did they climb over Memphis in the Western Conference?
See, all of that is so in flux, if you will, because I know that Wemby's going to be better. Wemby's going to hit the ground running this year, where he didn't do that last year for a number of reasons. In particular, it's the NBA. It takes a minute. And the second was the horrible Jeremy Sohan experiment at point guard. So all of those things. But this year, he's going to hit the ground running. So they are going to be better. Are they going to be 46 wins? Boy, that's a tough one. And if somebody were to say you have to answer this question or you're going to lose $1 million, I would say they're not going to win 46 games this year. That would be my call. I think they're going to be better, but I don't know if they're going to be 24 games better. Final question before we end this subject for now, and I think this is a legit question. The question is, will Wemby spend his entire career in San Antonio? Now, according to the experts at ESPN, it's 50-50 for the most part. Yes, 53%. No, 48%. So that's what I keep talking about, where everybody thinks that, we just automatically have Wemby for his entire career. And I hope we do. Now, don't get me wrong. But there is always that chance. And even when you're talking to so-called experts here from ESPN, they're split on the subject. they're split on whether Wemby will spend his entire career, which is why I don't want to take anything for granted when it comes to this young man. And I think that's why I want to see this thing sped up more so than a lot of you do. So we'll see. I thought that was a fascinating little question and answer, and we'll talk more about that as we go for sure. But man, I don't know. It's just it's interesting to see a lot of high expectations for Victor Wembanyama. That is for sure. A lot of comments on our YouTube page as well, and their commentary and how they think that they're going to Gilbert Padilla in fact thinks 6 to 8. He is what his prediction is, which means they'll be in the playoffs. Roy Martinez says 40 to 42 wins for the Spurs this year. So it's tough to predict. Obviously, a lot of things have to go well, injury-wise, all of that kind of stuff.
And the entire career thing's a bit of a loaded question in terms of how many players truly play their entire career outside of like Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and David Robinson.
Well,
right?
and there's
even
that.
Tony Parker finished his final season in Charlotte. Like Wemby could play all but one season here and not play his entire career here. So that 50-50 split on if he finishes his career here could also just be taken into account. Nobody in the NBA really finishes their career in one spot very often.
Well, and all of that is true, and it's a fair statement. But I think what I'm concerned about is, and we've talked about it, is we damn near lost Tim Duncan. And if you don't believe that, then you just got your head in the sand, because he was a millimeter from taking his talents to the Orlando Magic. And if not for a screw up by Doc Rivers, history might certainly have been changed. So that is just a fact. It's just a fact that almost happened, and it was very close to happening. And so, I wouldn't put it past. Let me put it this way. When Wemby's contract, this initial one, comes up, every team in the NBA is going to come after this young man. Spurs can pay him more, yes, but don't fool yourself. Every team in this league will come calling for one Victor Wembanyama. That's why I am adamant. And I know don't skip steps and be patient and yada, yada, yada. I don't want to waste this guy. I don't want to waste not 1 year with Victor Wembanyama. I hope he's here for his entire career. I hope that's a long career, a lot of banners inside the Frostbank Center or the Wemby Center or whatever we're going to be calling it once it's built. But don't take it for granted. That's my problem, and that's why I want to see this thing go a little bit quicker than that. How about the Dallas Cowboys? They start training camp next year. They start it next week, actually. I don't know what I'm talking about, but they got a couple of guys that aren't signed. One of them, CeeDee Lamb. The other's Dak Prescott. Stephen Jones addressed those contract situations today. What did he have to say? We'll talk about it when we continue right here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle. In my calendar, it's football season. Training camps are beginning. We'll look at every angle.
And how did the Spurs finish up Summer League? We'll talk about that and so much more. Starts at 6 o'clock right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, everybody, it's Joe Reinagle from The Blitz. I cannot tell you how happy I am with my brand new Connecticut quality water softener. Had it in my house now for about 2 weeks, and the difference it is making is just unbelievable. You know, Connecticut's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. Their products are made in America. And you live in San Antonio in South Texas, a water softener, it's a must. And Connecticut is the absolute best, up to 80% more efficient than competing models. Simple design, fewer moving parts, and in fact, you don't plug it in. No plug-in at all. It does not run on electricity. It only works when you need it to work. And right now, if you've been thinking about a Kinetico quality water softener in your home, Kinetico is going to let you try one for 90 days absolutely free with no contract. All you have to do is give them a call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or KineticoSA.com.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts next weekend. For 3 days only, next Friday through Sunday, get 20% off. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale too. 20% off starts next Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
How about you, Cowboys? What will the Cowboys defense look like under new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer? San Antonio sports star relocates to California's Golden Coast to find out.
You asked for it, you got it!
Coverage of the Cowboys' week-long training camp in Oxnard is brought to you by AA Best Bell Buns and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Beginning Monday morning, July 29th, South Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio sports star. The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Man, I'm so happy it's Friday. It's just one of those Fridays that's kind of, I'm looking forward to the weekend because I got nothing on the schedule yet. I'm sure I will have, but nothing really on the schedule. And I kind of like those weekends. It's been a while since I've had anything like that. So I'm happy about it. By the way, just want to send out the invitation again. I want you to mark this on your calendar. Get it down. Join the Blitz live from Circa Las Vegas. Yep, we're going back to Circa Las Vegas in August. In fact, August 22nd through the 25th, it is Circa Sports Ultimate Contest Weekend. Circa Survivor, Circa Million, they are back. You have to enter in Nevada, but you can play from anywhere. So in other words, you go up there, you enter one of these contests or both of them, and you can play here throughout. Makes makes the NFL season, I tell you what, a lot of fun. So join Jason and I in Las Vegas, and you need more details or to book discounted rooms because they are available online at sasportstar.com. Put that on your calendar. Let's get out to Las Vegas and have some fun. How are the Dallas Cowboys going to do? That's always the big question, right? We are the Dallas Cowboy station. We will be in Oxnard, California. We leave a week from Sunday, in fact. So looking forward to that. Cowboys kick off training camp on Wednesday. That's when they are due to report, actually Tuesday and Wednesday. We're expecting Jerry Jones' State of the Cowboys address on Thursday. That's typically when he gets that done. And, of course, we'll have it for you right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. But Stephen Jones today, or yesterday, I guess this was on the Scoop podcast with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel. And it's really the first time we've heard from anybody in the Jones family lately. It's been a while. In fact, Jerry Jones has been eerily quiet for Jerry Jones. He's typically not this quiet. Stephen Jones, though, was on this podcast with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel, and they asked the questions just like everybody else. Why in the world are you waiting to get CD and Dak signed?
Well, we're just now to the point where we can do a CD and a Micah. And, certainly you want to see these things play out. And certainly, a lot of times you want to make sure, certainly CD had his breakout year this year. In terms of, really having a mega year in terms of his numbers and his statistics. And, of course, Micah just became eligible. And, of course, we've done a deal with Dak. So, after that, we've done Diggs. We got him done early. And, unfortunately, when you're paying these quarterbacks, the kind of money these teams are having to pay them, and it's not just a handful of them. There's, Chase, you follow it, I'm sure, there's 12 to 16 guys that are making $40+ million. And, then you're restricted to paying, 5 or 6 guys. And believe me, it doesn't feel good to watch a Abadaz leave the organization. It doesn't feel good to watch, watch these guys that we drafted and developed and playing at a good level walk away. But unfortunately, we can't do that. Now, the good news is we feel like we've done a good job of drafting again. And you get the Guytons of the world and the BBs of the world and a Nealon who's a pass rusher. You got to keep bringing these guys in because that's where you get the relief under the cap is having your young guys play at a high level and play right away.
Steven says a lot and a lot of certainties and all of that. And I'm really not sure if he told us anything other than the fact that it's difficult to get these done because of the amounts of money. CD and Micah, just by listening to that and just kind of the way I take it, Dak's kind of on the outside looking in. Right? I mean, that's how I took it. It's like it's almost CD and Micah, yeah, we want to get that done. But, sometimes you got to make difficult decisions. And you hate seeing people walk away. That's how I took that. Not sure how you guys took that. But they went on to ask the next question, which is obvious. What about Dak? Are you going to get a deal done with him?
Well, the answer to that question is we are optimistic that we can get these guys done. I know Dak, our goal is to get him done. He knows that. We're having conversations and, with his agent, with Dak personally, both Jerry and myself. And he knows our goal is to keep him here. He also understands the challenges and, you see, what happens to teams when you do have these high-priced quarterbacks. At some point, it's a challenge to keep everybody. Obviously, the Chiefs are an example of that, but they were able to, survive not keeping Tyreek Hill and, some other top players. I think they let, one of the top corners in the league go this year, after this season. So, you have to make some tough choices along the way, but we're optimistic that we can do that. And we'll continue to grind away on that. I know, between fans and media, that's your job is to ask when and can you and what happens if you don't. But, our eyes on the ball and in terms of getting these things done. And we're not thinking about what happens if you don't. We're trying to get the job done.
That's interesting stuff. Again, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence, if you will, that they're going to get a deal done with Dak Prescott. Whether it's the Jones family or Dak Prescott himself not wanting to play ball, it's just I get the feeling just from those two answers alone, they don't want to pay Dak Prescott $60 million a year. They don't. What does that entail, and what are the consequences of that? Who knows? But they're tired of losing in the playoffs. And I know that Jerry Jones was extremely upset with losing in the playoffs, especially the way they did against the Green Bay Packers. And Steven, he was asked, and he says he understands the fans' frustrations.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of people want to, somewhat be critical of the organization, of Jerry and myself, of Coach McCarthy, of our team. And, of course, Dak being the quarterback gets the brunt of it. You know that, Chase, of our success in the playoffs. But at the same time, you got to, certainly recognize that we've won 36 regular season games in 3 years, which, of course, we're playing 17 now. I think the Patriots may have done that, doing it in 16 games on a 3-year run. But, we're having really great success in the regular season, and there's no question. I understand the criticism from our fans. I understand criticism from media. We all understand that. In terms of not winning the big game in the playoffs. And we certainly got to take that next step. I know we could go out there and no one's assuming anything and win, have another great regular season, and no one's going to give, and they shouldn't, no one's going to, really give, hey, they're going to get it done this time until they see it. And we understand that. We put ourselves in that position with, our playoff winning percentage. And we do have to take that next step, but I certainly believe we can do it.
Well, that's great. I'm happy that he thinks that. We've been thinking that for a long time. And look, it's Steven's job is to remain optimistic regardless. I really believe that going into this season, it's Dak's last in Dallas, whether that ends up in a trade that they agree upon or he walks in free agency and the Cowboys try and start over. We've been talking about this. They're going to give Trey Lance every opportunity to beat out Cooper Rush. Every single opportunity that there is, they're going to give that young man that opportunity. And I'm not sure how Trey is going to play. I saw him play in San Francisco. It was horrible. Will it be different in Dallas? He's going to play a lot in the preseason. There's no doubt about that. How's he going to perform? And will he beat out Cooper Rush? And if he doesn't, does that make a difference? All of those questions hopefully will be answered very, very soon. But you heard Steven talking about the Patriots, with the 12 wins when it was a 16-game schedule. Now the Cowboys doing it with a 17-game schedule. There's been a lot of talk about an 18-game schedule. And Steven was asked what he thinks about adding a game to the NFL schedule.
I'm on the competition committee. We talked about this, knowing that it's probably inevitable. It's certainly, I do know, at the end of the day, the players, enjoy the compensation that's coming their way, and they get, for the most part, half of every revenue dollar that comes through the door. And so certainly getting paid well. We all know when we go to 18 games, the revenue is going to jump, and certainly should only help in terms of the money available to pay players and, get players the compensation. I do think, whether you're a general manager, whether you're the head coach, whether you're a coach, there's going to be some strategy in terms of taking care of your players, in terms of, how you manage through your full 53-man roster, how many guys can be up and available. All those are just very, great questions in terms of, how you manage through a season if it ultimately goes to 18. Obviously, that has to be bargained with the union, and it'll be, a great conversation because no one wants to protect our players and have them up and healthy than the National Football League and the 32 individual teams. We all know at the end of the day, you want your best players up and healthy playing for the championships when you get to the playoffs. And, I think Coach McCarthy, our head coach, is one of the best at managing our team in terms of keeping them healthy, keeping them upright. keeping them feeling good as the season progresses. And, it'll be something that we'll have to continue to manage. Certainly we have the technology this day and time to manage, pretty much every step they're taking from the time they come in the facility. We know, how much energy is going out and, how much their output is and what we need to do to keep them feeling good, having their body in the best possible way it can be to manage them through the 18 games. And, if you're fortunate in the NFL, certainly the playoffs.
Yeah, certainly the playoffs. And it'd be nice to win one of those playoff games. Look, I think an 18-game schedule's coming. It's just a matter of when and how they work it all out. I know Joe Burrow from Cincinnati said he'd be for it, but they need a couple of bye weeks and some things need to happen and to keep the players healthy, as Steven was just talking about. But I think it's coming. I just think it's inevitable that we will see it here within the very near future. Again, that was from the Scoop podcast with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel. They just started this. They've only been going a couple of weeks, I think, with if even that. Some sad news for me that I want to tell you about because you've heard us, and he's been on the show too, Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News, beat reporter for the Dallas Cowboys, announced last night that he's stepping down. He's not going to work for the Dallas Morning News anymore, and he and his family are moving to Washington, D.C. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to get a job with the Washington football team or not, but he just said that they just had a young child and they want to be close to family, and apparently that's where family is in Washington, D.C. But he is a solid guy, and I like him, nice guy, and he was one of those, Pledge and I were talking about this, one of those when he reported something, you knew it was gospel. It was absolutely on the level, and you could rely on it completely. So Michael Gelkin stepping down from the Dallas Morning News, that will shake up the Dallas Morning News for sure when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. But we wish Michael Gelkin all the best. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, why in the world is Lamar Jackson and Troy Aikman squabbling with each other? What could that be? We'll talk about it when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Tiger King, what happened in prison this week?
You know, it's crazy. Tell Gigi I'm thinking about turning straight because being gay is a pain in the butt. So.
He worked on that line all week.
Yeah, I really suck at being gay.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine is excited to announce a partnership that is revolutionizing access to care for orthopedic patients. The HURT app provides free 24/7 access to orthopedic expertise. HURT is the app to have before you need it. Don't wait for an injury to happen. Download HURT now for free, fast virtual access to orthopedic specialists. The HURT app is available online in the App Store and Google Play. Learn more about the HURT app and the OrthoNow Injury Clinic at tsaog.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mom, it's school shopping time.
On it. Ooh, Target has select supplies like crayons and glue sticks for 25 cents, plus markers for 50 cents.
Next, my new Rockstar vibe means new clothes.
Ooh, totally. These graphic tees are $6 and made to last.
And a strawberry lunch bag to match my sweet personality.
Got it. And it's only $5. Plus, get your favorite Good and Gather snacks. They're now at a new lower price.
Best team ever.
When it comes to low prices, Target has your back to school.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing. Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
The Golf Club of Texas has some of the best course conditions with the friendliest staff. The golf is great. They have lighted driving range and practice area. While it feels like a country club, it's not a private club. It's open to the public, so bring the family into the Tin Cup Bar, the nicest sit-down restaurant in that area of San Antonio, specializing in Texas food, wine, and spirits. For golf or dinner, go to the Golf Club of Texas off Highway 90, online at golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Have a question or need how-to advice? Just ask Meta AI. Whether you need to summarize your class notes or want to create a recipe with the ingredients you already have in your fridge, Meta AI has the answers. You can also research topics, explore interests, and so much more. It's the most advanced AI at your fingertips. Expand your world with Meta AI. Now on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and Messenger.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? You've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of STP full synthetic oil with an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, Major League Baseball is back. Houston Astros just a game back of the Seattle Mariners in the AL West standings. They open up a series against the Mariners starting tonight at 9:10. Texas Rangers sit in third behind Houston. They open up a series at home against the Baltimore Orioles. You can catch that game right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star beginning at 6:30. And Tiger Woods, he didn't make the cut at the Open Championship.
Joe Reinagle.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is 3 o'clock. It is Friday afternoon. That is a good thing. All of the above. Hope you're having a great Friday afternoon, everybody. Staying dry out there. I think the weather's clearing up a little bit. It was raining earlier, but I think it stopped. Just be safe out there if you're driving around San Antonio, South Texas, wherever you're at. And however you're listening to us, we certainly appreciate that, whether it's on our YouTube channel where you can comment and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you're out driving around listening on 94.1. On any of the apps, however you're doing it, we thank you very much for doing that. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix, my partner, is off today. Little R&R, a couple of days off to spend some time in New York and go to a concert there tonight. James Pledger, though, is working hard. He is the producer of this fine program. We appreciate Pledge. He's got his Texans gear on today. All excited because the Houston Texans are at training camp. They reported first full team to do so. The Chicago Bears were second, and obviously there's a reason for that. They play each other in the Hall of Fame game coming up here on August 1st. August 1st! That's not very far away before we're going to have some NFL football to watch, and that's going to be a lot of fun, albeit it is preseason, and that kind of sucks, but that's all right. You might have heard right there at the end of SportsCenter, I talked about Tiger Woods not making the cut at the Open Championship across the pond. or the British Open, which I still like to call it. But Pledge has been giving me a hard time today because I went on a rant yesterday talking about, and it's not the first time. I did this the last time Tiger missed the cuts, which he's done 6 of the last 7 times he's gone out and played. And I just think it's time for him to step down. I hate seeing him play in the way he's playing. I mean, 14 over par is just not Tiger Woods golf as far as I'm concerned. But first thing Pledge says, Joe, I really hope you have the same energy about Tiger Woods today. I really do. Because, and I'm thinking, well, this is great. Okay, Pledge, you're finally coming around. He goes, no, because I can't stand seeing Rory McIlroy not make the cut. He should retire. He should. Dude, it's apples and oranges, Pledge. Apples and oranges. Rory has been in the top 10 of just about every tournament he's played in. He had a horrible Open Championship. There's no question about that. A lot of guys didn't make the cut here. Bryson DeChambeau is not going to make the cut. And there were some big names. Also, there were a couple of other guys that are bigger names.
I'm watching them struggle around the course. They should just hang it up.
Yeah, they really should. Just call it a day. Well, most of those live guys have. So with the exception of, I think John Rahm is the guy that is playing the best out of the livers right now. And I'm happy to see him. I love that guy. That was one of those guys that I really hated to see go over to the dark side of the live. So, look, I still think Tiger, it's time to retire. But you know what? He's Tiger. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to continue to go out there and play and not make cuts, then so be it. I just want to remember Tiger as Tiger, not Tiger as 14 over par. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, he won't be around for the weekend, and I know that will mean a lot of you will not watch that stuff. So be it. But good for Tiger. If he wants to continue to play, go on and do it. But hey, we do something about this time every day. It's called the Headline Blitz.
Is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
Never enough time. And I saw a story today that I kind of went, really? What's happening? I have no clue because Lamar Jackson and Troy Aikman, yes, they are in a little bit of a dispute over the number 8. Apparently, Troy Aikman has tried to trademark the number 8. And he's trying to do this because obviously he's got 8 beer, but he wants to have merchandise with 8 on it as well. Well, Lamar Jackson saying, hey, whoa, hold on, pump the brakes there, buddy, because I use that number 8 too. Both of these guys, which I find out in this article, in the story today, that have worn the number 8, or they wore the number 8 for their entire career, whether that's college or in pro, both of them. So apparently Lamar Jackson has some stuff already in the works with the number 8 on it. It's Era 8 is what Lamar Jackson has. And his contention is, or his lawyer's contention is if Troy Aikman is able to trademark the number 8, which I find bizarre anyway, how you could trademark a number like that. But Lamar contends that, look, it would be confusing because I'm trying to use it too with a logo. Lamar has no issue with him sharing the number, no issue with Aikman's 8 beer or anything else that he wants to do. He just doesn't think that Aikman ought to be able to trademark that number. So he's challenging the quarterback's use of their shared number 8. So and trying to trademark it. So we'll continue to follow that and see where that ends up. But I just found it when I saw that headline. Wait a minute, Lamar Jackson and Troy Aikman, they're squabbling about something. They're in a dispute about something. That just seemed kind of weird to me. So that's what it's all about. So if you happen to run across that headline and you see it, then you'll know what's going on. And we'll see how that turns out. But I just find that bizarre that you could trademark a number. And truth be told, I don't know if anybody else has done that. I have no clue if anybody else has done that. But apparently that's what Troy Aikman wants to do.
Got to get my hands on 5.
On 5? Yeah. It's special number to you, Pledge. Number 5?
Number to me.
Number 5. Why is that? I have to bite. Why?
I just always really like the number 5.
Number
5
5
in everything I played in sports.
Uh-huh.
It's my number.
Okay. All right. I had a bunch of different numbers. I was always a decent athlete, but never a spectacular athlete. So I never really got attached to a number. I guess 83 would be my number. I wore that in high school, and it was all in honor of Golden Richards. Remember Golden Richards? Played for the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. He was married to Joey Heatherton.
Ooh.
Yeah, hubba. Absolutely. So and that was why I did that, and back in the day. But I don't really have a number. It's funny. My wife was asked me yesterday if I had a walkout song.
Yeah.
Because we're watching the convention last night. Hulk Hogan was on there, and he's got a walkout song.
Oh, yeah.
And most of those guys, the wrestlers do, right? They have a walkout song. I don't have a walkout song. You have a walkout song?
I don't.
I found that and I guess, I mean.
I need one.
I think we all need a walkout song.
I mean, I guess we kind of do.
But I mean,
like, if our show opens, that's our walk-up song.
Well, I guess so for the show. But her point was like, if you MC something or you're speaking somewhere and say, hey, and we're Joe Reinagel's here, and you got the walkout song, right? So, and I didn't know this, but my wife has a walkout song.
Really?
Well, she speaks quite a bit to groups, and when they introduce her, now the whole song doesn't play, but it's Eminem's the music, the moment, or whatever, right? Yeah, right. So that's what she does. Now they don't play the whole song, but just kind of the music, and so that's kind of her deal, her walkout song. And so she asked me if I had one, and I don't have one. So I need to find one. And I'm wondering, does anybody out there listening have a walkout song that you've picked out, that if you were a wrestler or you're speaking somewhere or whatever, that would be the song that played while you were walking out? I found that fascinating. But I don't have a walkout song, so I'm going to have to figure out a walkout song. I wonder if Lane Kiffin has a walkout song. I would imagine that Lane Kiffin probably does. Of course, the SEC Media Days were this past week. They wrapped up yesterday. Lane Kiffin with Ole Miss. Well, Paul Finebaum, I guess, is kind of the spokesman for the SEC, or his radio show is. Lane Kiffin was on with Paul Finebaum, and Lane Kiffin kind of calls Paul out for something he said back in the day.
I was going through a deep depression over this incorrect guilt that you tried to lay on me, which preceded that move. Had something to do with Southern California.
Oh, yeah. When you got me fired at USC, I got myself fired at USC, but you didn't help.
It's a better story if I got you fired.
You really did. Because it is a true story that the athletic director and the president were on that trip. We were playing that night, and you were on College Game Day, and you had to make your big splash, and they were watching it, because I know the other person in the room that was watching it with them, and you said what a joke I was, and I'm the Miley Cyrus of college football coaching, and I should be fired, and they looked at each other, and later that night I was fired.
Yeah, by the way.
So, but hey, look what happened. I would have never gotten to work for Coach Saban. All these other things wouldn't happen. So I appreciate you for helping getting me fired. Thank you.
Look at what you're doing today. You're predicted to go to the playoffs. And look at Miley Cyrus. She's had a nice comeback.
So you're wrong on that. I mean, you put me down with that. So really, I don't really know what you're good at. Like you predicted that Coach Saban was done. That didn't happen. You basically said Miley Cyrus stinks, and she's still going.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's always great to be ridiculed by Lane Kiffin here.
Well, anyway, it's always great to be ridiculed by Lane Kiffin. I thought that was funny that Lane Kiffin, and it doesn't surprise me with that guy, but I don't know. I thought that was funny, and Kiffin taking the opportunity to let Paul Finebaum know exactly how he feels about him. I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's very good at all. Hey, we're talking about walkout songs. Chris Orozco on our YouTube channel says mine should be the Connecticut jingle. No, I don't think that would fire anybody up, but I appreciate you, Chris, and I'm glad you enjoy that jingle when I sing it. You're welcome, buddy. You are welcome. Now, Ken is on our phone lines at 656-ESPN, 656-3776, and he says he's got a walkout song for me. What is it, Ken?
The national anthem by Ingrid, because she can sing better drunk than you can sober.
Oh. I didn't know this was a Mike night, Ken. The Mike night where you walk up and try to be funny. Although that was pretty damn funny, Ken. Thanks for the call. I appreciate that. Not bad. Not bad. And I was really hoping I would never have to hear that rendition of the national anthem ever again. That was awful. So thank you, Ken, for that. Appreciate you, I think. Not sure, but I think so. Jeez. You guys are hilarious. Hey, we have to take a break, believe it or not, and we got to pay some bills. But when we come back, I want to give you a little update on what happened over across the pond with the Open Championship, or the British Open. Have I mentioned that Tiger Woods didn't make the cut? Did I mention that yet? And that he should maybe retire?
Anybody else missed the cut?
A lot of people missed the cut, but Tiger's missed it 6 of the last 7 tournaments he's been in. I don't know. Does it make a difference? Do you care? Are you going to watch now, or are we going to watch anyway? I don't know. It's nuts. We'll talk about that. I'll give you a little bit of an update on what's happening over there. I'm a golf geek. I can't go through an entire show without talking a little bit about the Open Championship. So we'll do that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, though, I want to tell you about Parkhurst New Vision. If you've listened to the show at any time at all, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Parkhurst and his staff at Parkhurst New Vision. Had lens replacement surgery a year ago. And I know that for a fact because I get the memories now that are popping up of me laying in the bed and all happy that, I've got my new vision. So I'm very happy about that. So it's been a year, and it's been a great year. No readers, no glasses, none of that kind of stuff. And I see better now than I've seen in 30 years. And a lot of people are getting that same vibe because they're going to Parkhurst New Vision. They're posting about it, giving their testimonials on social media. I love seeing that. It's really like a little community. And you too can be a part of that community. All you have to do is get the process started. 210-585-2020. Also online at sanantoniolasik.com. You call, you set up your initial consultation. You go in and ask all your questions. You tell them that Joe, your buddy from the Blitz, sent you in here. And they're going to tell you exactly what they're going to do, how the procedure is going to work. You're going to feel like family, and you're going to feel really good about the decision you made. Parkhurst New Vision. Let them do for you what they've done for me and so many others here in San Antonio and South Texas. Give them a call. 210-585-2020.
94.1 FM.
Come to Generations Federal Credit Union and drive away with a great competitive rate on your auto loan. We make auto loans simple, with no payments for up to 90 days, easy applications, and fast local decisions. Apply online or in person at Generations Federal Credit Union. Member owned, community grown. Rates and terms subject to approval and may change without notice. Interest will continue to accrue during the payment deferral period. Full terms and conditions at mygenfcu.org/auto. Federally insured by NCUA.
Pros, now's your chance to find the deals you need during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 20% off select Werner and Little Giant ladders. Plus, save $60 on a DeWalt 20-volt max 2-tool combo kit. Was $229, now $169. Shop the brands you trust in-store or online today. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 7/26. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million are now up to a record $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rate. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, Make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed through quarterly and full season payouts. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. Visit circusports.com for details.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide reach as Big Wireless. Now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Howdy, San Antonio. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're locked on the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Howdy, Andrew. How about those Aggies? We heard from Mike Elko yesterday, the head football coach of those fighting Texas A&M Aggies. He kind of wrapped things up at the SEC Media Days yesterday. So looking forward to the Aggies and the Longhorns and the Crimson Tides and all of them getting the college football season kicked off. And, of course, our own UTSA Roadrunners as well, UIW, all the above, Trinity. Looking forward to all of them hitting the gridiron, the high school kids. That's coming up really quick, and I'm so happy about it. I don't know if we've told you or not, but week from Monday, we will be broadcasting live at the tennis courts at the old Marriott Residence Inn there in Oxnard, California, the fall home or summer home, if you will, of the Dallas Cowboys as they train and get ready for the upcoming season. We're going to be out there and doing our shows beginning Monday, the 29th? That will be first. The morning huddle will kick things off bright and early in the morning out there in Oxnard. And then, of course, Jason and I will have the blitz for you from 2 to 6 all that week with guests and surprises and drama and all of the above. You know what's coming. It's the Dallas Cowboys and everything else. Now, Stephen Jones talked today, or actually yesterday. He was on the Scoop podcast with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel and talked about the contract situation between Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. And we'll hear from Stephen Jones coming up here in just a little bit. First, so I just saw something pop up on the Sporting News website, and I found it fascinating. Derrick Henry, the running back that should be a member of the Dallas Cowboys right now, that they should have gone after with everything that they have, especially when you find out that the Baltimore Ravens really didn't pay the guy anything. But I digress. Spends $240,000 a year, $240,000 plus a year on his body, on food, on working out, on all of that. And I wonder, that's a lot of money, is it not? My goodness, $240,000 plus per year working on his body. Now, if you've seen Derrick Henry, it's money well spent because the dude is stout, and he's still stout. And, I think the addition of him for the Baltimore Ravens is going to be huge. It is going to be huge. It's going to take a lot of pressure off of Lamar Jackson. So we'll see how that goes. But that just popped up, and I'm going, wow, that's nuts. That's crazy. $240,000 plus. Unbelievable. Just a quick update, because I'm a golf geek, and that's what I do. And I know a lot of you are not, but it's okay. It's going on. It's a major championship and a major sport. The Open Championship, I still call it the British Open. Shane Lowry is leading this thing right now at -7. Justin Rose, Daniel Brown, both at -5. The only American that is up there near the top, well, Scotty Scheffler's at -2, but Billy Horschel is also at -2. Patrick Cantlay is there in the top 10 as well. Alexander Schauffele in the top 10. Tiger Woods is not. He did not make the cut at +14. He had a horrible round yesterday of 79, a little bit better today of 77, but way off the pace as far as making the cut. But Rory McIlroy did not make the cut either. So Tiger was in good company. The cut line was +6. So that saved a lot of people. It really did, because +6 and that got you in for the weekend. But some of the notables that didn't make it, we already mentioned Tiger and Rory, but Bryson DeChambeau didn't make it. Tommy Fleetwood missed the cut as well. There were a lot of big names. Look, that golf course over there is tough, extremely tough. And then when you add in the cold weather and the wind and all of that stuff, the wet, it makes it that much more difficult. I don't know if you guys care, but I got to ask the question. I've been talking about it, and I've been campaigning for it. And I hate to be on the same side as Colin Montgomery, because he's a little doughboy, a little older than Tiger Woods. He was saying that Tiger ought to retire. And I think it's everybody, or I say everybody, I think it's a lot of people that grew up watching Tiger Woods or watched him in his heyday and in his prime, and just don't want to see the greatness that was Tiger Woods not be great anymore, and in fact be horrible. Even though there are a lot of big name golfers that didn't make the cut in this, Tiger hadn't made the cut in 6 of his last 7 majors. He made the cut in the Masters, but as we all remember there, he completely fell apart over the weekend. And I hate to see it, because if Tiger hadn't had all the problems that he's had with his back, with that car accident, which by all intents and purposes probably should have killed the guy. So he's got to be one tough SOB, I would think. And the fact that he's playing at all and can play to the quality that he does play, I think it's time. It's time. I would love to not get away from the game, because he's a great ambassador for the game of golf. Great ambassador for the game of golf. But, man, just playing. But then I have to preface it by saying he's Tiger Woods. With all the major championships that he's won, he's got the right to play as long as he wants to play. Because I don't see Tiger Woods, and I could be wrong, and I hope he does, but I don't see Tiger Woods going to the senior tour. I just don't see that happening. I think he's one of those guys, and the ego is such that he's not going to go play with the old guys, even when he turns 50, and that's what he'll have to be. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll surprise me. And I think if he does, he will dominate that tour. Because you can ride a golf cart on the senior tour, is my understanding. Obviously, the golf courses are easier than the ones that they're playing on now. And I think Tiger Woods still has that game to go over on that tour and really make a difference and really dominate one more time. So we'll see what he does. But I hate to sit here and call for a guy like Tiger Woods to retire, but it's just hard for me to watch him tournament after tournament after tournament. And part of the problem is he only plays in majors. That's the only time he plays. And so there's no consistency. There's no, getting better. I know he's got his kid Charlie, who's going to be an up and comer, and who knows, maybe the next. That could very well be. But it just makes me sad to see Tiger Woods shoot 14 over par and miss the cut badly. But then again, as Pledge reminded me, there are a lot of guys that missed the cut, Rory included. So there you go. It's a big deal to me. Again, I'm a golf geek. I know there's got to be one or two of you out there. Pledge is a golf geek. He likes watching it.
I still love watching Tiger to this day because
even when he shoots 14 over par,
it hurts, sure, but I'm also hoping to get a Jack Nicklaus moment from him, where Nicklaus in '86 goes and wins the Masters when nobody expected it.
And Jack was 46 years old at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Which Tiger's a little bit older than that now. But Jack didn't have the stuff on him that Tiger's been through. And that's the problem. I mean, Tiger's been through hell, let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
With his back issues, with the car accident, with all of that stuff. And the fact that he's even out there playing is a miracle. But Jack didn't have all of that stuff.
No.
So
how great of a story
that'd be great.
Would it be to actually see that come? And if he retires and quits playing, we get robbed of the opportunity for that to even happen.
I got news for you, Pledge.
Probably not.
It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen, Pledge. I like your optimism, though.
You know what? USA was never going to beat Russia in the Olympics back in '80 either. Not going to happen.
Now we got a USA-Russia reference. Now, I get it. You're right, and they were not supposed to. And that was a glorious moment. I remember it very well.
16s can't beat 1 seeds. Things happen.
Eight seeds don't beat 1 seeds in the NBA. We saw that happen right here in San Antonio.
Things just don't happen.
Yeah, they don't happen. I would like to say Tiger's going to be able to do that. He's only playing in majors. Look, if Tiger played maybe in a regular tournament, I would give him more of an opportunity. He's playing in the hardest golf tournaments on the PGA Tour right now, the majors, hardest golf courses that there are. And so if he comes maybe to come on down here to the Valero Texas Open, even though that golf course is no treat. But as far as it's not easy. That's what I meant by that. But I mean, some of these golf courses are pretty. What was it? Was it a couple of weeks ago? I think the winner was like 26 under par, something ridiculous like that. And I mean, maybe if he'd play in a tournament like that, I'd give him an opportunity to win. I just don't think he's going to win a major. But like Tiger can do whatever he wants. He's earned that right. He can do whatever he wants. It's like a Greg Popovich. He can go and retire whenever he feels like retiring. So
I'm just holding up hope for the one-off.
I get it, Pledge, and I love your optimism. You are an optimistic dude. I'm going to tell you what. Optimistic fella.
Not everything is thunderstorms and hurricanes, Joe.
Sometimes it's rainbows and unicorns.
Every once in a while.
Every now and then. I know how you're going to answer this question, Pledge, but I'm going to pose it to everybody else. Who, in your mind, who do you predict is going to have the better season? The Houston Texans or the Dallas Cowboys? Thought-provoking. I got something from Ryan this morning on our, what is that, at chat thing? What do we call that?
Oh, the WhatsApp?
The WhatsApp, that thing. I got that this morning.
The app chat?
The app chat, the Facebook, the whatever it is.
The Book of Faces.
That thing, right? The MySpace. Anyway, it was thought-provoking, and I'm going to share it with you and ask you that question. Who has the better season this year? The Texans or the Cowboys? We'll talk about that when we continue right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle. In my calendar, it's football season. Training camps are beginning. We'll look at every angle.
And how did the Spurs finish up Summer League? We'll talk about that and so much more. Starts at 6 o'clock right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. Best way to do that? Call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, "Bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back," without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
It's Jason and Joe from the Blitz. Join us at Circa Las Vegas in August for the Circa Sports Ultimate Contest Weekend.
The Blitz will be live at Circa August 22nd and 23rd, and then we're staying for the weekend. Come to Vegas with us for the Ultimate Contest Weekend.
Circa Survivor and Circa Million are back. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
So join the Blitz at Circa Las Vegas. More details and discounted rooms available online at sasportstar.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner. So whether you're planning for retirement or trying to save up for your next big adventure, Vanguard will help work alongside you to set personalized investment goals. That's the value of ownership. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select, Select Pro, or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore quality braking and improve stopping performance with parts and advice from the professional parts people. Save money now when you visit O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Listen to 941 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa,
Yeah, Alexa. Play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I hope everybody's Alexa just went off. Alexa, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We just repeat that. We put it on a loop, Pledge, and just play it over and over and over and over again. Hi, everybody, and happy Friday. This is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Ryan-Egel. Jason Minix with the day off, but James Pledger is here with his Texans gear on. He's excited about the NFL season, that's for sure.
Are you not?
Oh, I'm thrilled with it, yes. I can't wait for the NFL season, college football season, high school football season. All of the above, my friend. I am thrilled, thrilled. Frank Valdez just he's rubbing it in here. You see this on our YouTube page? Burger time at Diana's.
Oh,
dude, those burgers are outstanding.
I've heard. I don't think I've ever had a Diana.
Well, you need to get over there and have one. They are outstanding. I bet you Frank's probably going to have a nice cold beer with that burger. So they just kind of rubbing it in on a Friday, but that's all right, Frank. You enjoy. I guess he's celebrating too because he said, "Hey, what's up, Pledge?" They're the Legends champions in the Harlandale Alumni basketball tournament, and apparently he hurt his knee.
Yeah, I saw he needed an MRI.
Well, Frank, it's all right. That happens, buddy. Father Time is undefeated. He really is. It's a shame, but
he left it all out on the court. That's what that tells me.
That's right. He did. He did. The problem is, Frank's. I'm not sure how old Frank is, but when you get older, you don't have that much to leave out on the court anymore. So, last time I played basketball, we're doing a charity event at Ken's TV, and I broke my nose. We had a photographer. We have a photographer. He's still there.
Carl Malone playing?
Well, no, Jason Eggleston, who Jason's probably 6'6", 6'7", maybe. Tall guy. One of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. But I was going in for a layup. In fact, went in for a layup, stole the ball, went up, uncontested layup. I was really happy. And as I turn around, Jason's shoulder was right there, man. Bam! My nose went over here. And, it was broken, had a concussion, all of that stuff. So those were fun. We used to do that quite often over at the TV station. The charities basketball tournaments that we do. One time, way back in my career, we had we did a charity basketball against nuns at a church school, at a Catholic school. So the nuns came out in full habit and were playing.
Y'all get schooled?
No, I think we won, but I tell you what, there were some hard fouls going on there. Yeah, I mean, they were there to win.
But if you didn't let the nuns win, are you going to hell?
I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I guess I'll find that out one day. My goodness. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, all of those things. Let me ask you all a question because this is a legit question. I got this from Ryan. Sent it on our WhatsApp app, and it's kind of a group chat here at the radio station, but it was on Instagram, and it says Texans or Cowboys, and this is sent by Fox NFL. It starts like this: Houston's offensive core: C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Dalton Schultz. Pretty good lineup there, I would say.
Yeah.
Compared to Dallas's offensive core: Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, and Jake Ferguson. Who are you taking in that scenario with those two offensive cores? Who are you taking?
See, when you narrow it down to just a core four instead of the offense itself, it becomes a much more difficult choice.
Well, let's just go one at a time here, Pledge. What do you say? One at a time. C.J. Stroud. Well, we'll save that for the end.
Okay.
Dalton Schultz and Jake Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson.
Of course, Jake Ferguson.
It's not of course.
Of course, it's Jake Ferguson.
I just happen to like Jake Ferguson a little bit more in terms of his upside, his potential, and his overall.
Going to be a Pro Bowler.
The needle's going high.
He will be a Pro Bowler. Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. He's one of the top 3 receivers in the league.
Okay, if he plays, and that we'll see, right?
But no, we're not assuming they're playing, right?
Right. We're going to assume that, and I would assume that they will sign him. Joe Mixon, Zeke Elliott.
That's easy.
Joe Mixon.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, this one may be tough for you and for Texans and Cowboy fans. C.J. Stroud or Dak Prescott.
You got the number 2 MVP getter. So you cannot take away what Dak accomplished last year.
And I will say this, as good as C.J. Stroud was, it was just 1 year. And Dak Prescott, for all the stuff that I give him and everybody else does, he's a good regular season quarterback.
But in the same vein, with the Jake Ferguson talk, and I'm talking about upside and potential and the needles pointing up.
Yeah.
The same thing can be said about CJ Stroud.
Well, absolutely. And I think that's a legit argument because, and I think you could use it when you start talking, well, what about a Justin Herbert? What about a Trevor Lawrence? What about Joe Burrow? Whatever, for these guys that are getting paid, the upside, the potential is still there. Now, Dak Prescott, a lot of quarterbacks, once they hit the ripe old age of 30, played pretty well. So I wouldn't say that the potential for Dak to get better and play better has left the building, but I would say C.J. Stroud's moving up where Dak is just kind of going sideways.
See, I don't think he's going sideways, though, because he had legitimately his best season last year.
In the regular season. He had a great regular season as a rookie. He's had good and great regular seasons. The problem is now, and you want to look at this, Dak's going into his 9th year, C.J. Stroud's going into his 2nd year, and C.J. Stroud only has 1 less playoff win than Dak Prescott. Tells you everything you need to know. And look, I know that the playoffs, Super Bowls, all of those things, it's how I judge. Right now, there are exceptions, okay? Charles Barkley, Dan Marino, there are exceptions to those things where you can still be great and you still didn't get it. Although Dan Marino did get to a Super Bowl. He lost, but he did get to a Super Bowl.
Once.
Yes, his rookie year.
That's the only time he made it.
That's it. Think about those Dolphins, and a lot of you are too young to remember the Miami Dolphins in the Dan Marino days, but all they did was throw the football. They had nothing else. And look, Marino was damn good at it, and he had some great receivers.
Clayton, Duper.
Yes. So, but that's all they did. Man, that is all they did.
Sure.
And defensively, they weren't very good back in those days, and yada, yada. You can make excuses all over the place, but
you can also make the excuse for Dan Marino in terms of he did it his rookie year because he took the league by storm because nobody was throwing the football like that. The league adjusted and he never got back or close.
Could be, although he still put up great numbers, regular season numbers. He did.
Regular season
numbers. I'm just saying. And look, when Dak Prescott retires, whether that's with the Dallas Cowboys or somebody else, people are going to look back on his career, even if he doesn't make a Super Bowl, and say, he was a quality quarterback. Hall of Famer? I don't know. I'm not sure I would go that far yet, although his resume is not completely written just yet. But it remains to be seen. We're going to hear from Stephen Jones coming up in just a moment, and I don't know. It didn't sound good for Dak sticking around Dallas unless some things change. It remains to be seen. But we'll hear from Stephen coming up in just a moment. But I wanted to ask this question because Nick Caserio, the general manager for the Houston Texans, in my mind, ought to be executive of the year. It should have been last year. Certainly is going to be in the running for it this year. But I think he's done a tremendous job. And he was asked how the Texans, what is the formula, if you will, on how they go about choosing players?
We feel we have a good team. We feel we have a lot of great dudes in this building that care about football. I would say that one of the things that D'Amico's talked about is one of the things that we're looking for. Like, do you have competitive enthusiasm and competitive stamina on a day-to-day basis? Do you put the team first? Are you a great teammate? Are you focused on the team and not worried about yourself? So that's our responsibility to find players that have that mindset and share our collective belief and to bring them in the building. If they don't possess that, then quite frankly, they're not going to be here. So hopefully we've assembled a team with the right attitude, with the right mindset, that are focused on the right things, which is winning and not individual performance, because in the end, it's about how the team does, not about how one person does.
And you got to love that. And what that tells me is that Caserio and now D'Amico Ryans are building a culture there. They've got a culture that they want players in that building that fit that culture. And, there's a lot of teams. And look, there's a lot of teams, to be fair, ride the roller coaster, right? Sometimes the locker room is pretty good. There's some quality guys in there. And then there'll be periods of time where it's just the opposite, or you've got a handful of guys that aren't good locker room guys or teammates. That happens to every team all the time. But the Texans are trying to build a culture there in the city of Houston. And Caserio and D'Amico obviously are on the same page because they get together when it comes to making roster decisions.
Yeah, we talk every day. We go through the team. We talk about individual players. We talk about the position group. How do we feel about it? Do we want to make a change? Do we want to make an adjustment? And you just have to be careful. You don't want to make a knee-jerk reaction or response based on 1 or 2 days of practice. Oh, this player had a bad practice. Let's run him out of here. I mean, that's not fair to the player, but it's very fluid. We're talking about it. Are we a little light here? Maybe do we need an extra body here? Or you know what? This really isn't working out. Maybe we move on from this player. Maybe there's a better option. But you're not going to move on from a player unless you feel like you have a better alternative, a better option. So otherwise, you're just shuffling papers. But we talk all the time. We talk about the team. We talk on a regular basis. We talked over the summer about the team. So, I mean, it's something that we're very conscious of. And, I mean, it's very fluid, and it's a very organic process.
So judging by that answer, and I'm just going to spitball here, Pledge, judging by that answer, if Dak Prescott played for Nick Caserio, he wouldn't get rid of him because there's no alternative for the Dallas Cowboys at quarterback unless you're talking about
Trey Lance?
Yeah, that guy, which I don't really see as a viable replacement unless he's gotten a hell of a lot better. We just don't know it, and we're not going to know it until he hits the field and we see. But I like what he said there. You don't replace a guy unless you have a better alternative. Minix has said that a lot, and I fault for all the credit that I give Jerry Jones, and I'll give Jerry a lot of credit for building teams. I think Jerry does a pretty decent job of drafting, certainly offensive linemen, but putting together teams. That team they had last year, and with the way things fell into place, had the capability of making a run toward that Super Bowl. Everything fell into place. I think they could have at the very least, they should have made the NFC Championship game. I don't think there's any question about that. They didn't, and we all know the result in the story. But there's got to be a viable option, and I think the Cowboys have been derelict in duty in drafting quarterbacks because I think you just do that, and maybe not every year, but I think you draft quarterbacks and you have somebody that you're grim like they did with Dak Prescott. Nobody thought Dak Prescott was going to play his rookie year. In fact, I'm not sure a lot of people, when they drafted him at number 4, thought he would ever be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And he proved everybody wrong. I have a lot of respect for Dak Prescott. I just think sometimes, there's food in the refrigerator that's just spoiled and it stinks. And so you got to throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what's happening with Dak Prescott now. And I think to an extent, that's what the Jones family is thinking about that. Speaking of players, though, back to the Houston Texans and one guy that they brought in, being very aggressive this year, in my mind, with the Stephon Diggs deal and Joe Mixon. To me, I don't know how Cincinnati lets that guy get away, although running backs are running backs, and the Texans went out and got him. And Mixon, who has been in the league for a while, was asked how he thinks he's going to be used in the Texans organization.
I know what the type of player I am, and I'm not here to speak for everybody else, but in terms of me, I know for a fact, as long as I'm in great position to win, it's going to be night and day compared to how I was in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, I'm very optimistic with how this offense will be ran, how it will be used in this offense, and in terms of the whole running back narrative. I mean, like I said, everybody that I see that's, I say about like 26 to about 32 right now, like all them dudes is balling, man. So, shout out to the running backs, and I hope, y'all have a hell of a season. Everybody do their thing, for real.
Everybody do their thing. So Joe Mixon is going to fit in well there, I think. And I think it was an upgrade, certainly for the Texans. They've got a lot of great weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They've made some improvements on the defense. And expectations, let's just say, are extremely high in the city of Houston. And it's not just the city of Houston. It's everywhere around the NFL. Everybody talking about the Houston Texans and what they did last year, and certainly what the expectations and what they can do this year. It's going to be fun to watch, but they're already underway, up and running. Cowboys, meanwhile, well, they get started next week. That's when they get started, and hopefully some of those questions will be answered. We'll be there, by the way, the following week, beginning the 29th of July, where we will start our shows. Both the Morning Huddle and the Blitz will be live from Oxnard, California, covering the Dallas Cowboys training camp. Can't wait to get out there, and we'll see if we get any answers to any of these questions. Let's switch gears, though, when we come back. I want to ask you about a particular car that I think is, I'm not sure why it's even on the road. We'll talk about that, and who knows what else when we come back. This is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding 1604 with The Blitz.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
Bourbon and Brews is heading south for the summer, but don't worry. We're now introducing Twin Peaks Tequila and Cervezas. It's a fiesta every Friday at Twin Peaks with samples of our favorite tequilas and cervezas all summer long. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and those scenic views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Spurs Summer Leaguers are 3-0 in Las Vegas, and tonight they're back in action. They'll take on Philadelphia. Tip-off there set for 7:30. Team USA is also 3-0 in their exhibition slate. They're in London for a few more exhibition games, all starting tomorrow against South Sudan and Monday against Germany. Tiger Woods is not going to be around for the weekend at the Open Championship. 14 over par. He misses the cut.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Friday, everybody. It is Friday. The weekend is in sight. If you're already off work or already at home, already doing whatever you do on a Friday, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. And I'm so happy that you're taking some time to join us and spend part of your day with us here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We thank you for that. However you happen to be listening, if you're on our YouTube channel, we appreciate that. If you're driving around San Antonio and South Texas this afternoon and you've got it on 94.1, thank you for that. Or any of the apps or sasportstar.com, any of them, thank you so much. We truly, truly appreciate it. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is off, taking today off, and but James Pledger is not. He's in the glass box of fun, pushing all the buttons and doing all of that kind of stuff. So happy that you're here, Pledge. Appreciate you being here. Even though, you know, you've been a little under the weather. Sounds like you're coming out of it and doing better.
I'm better. I mean, there's still build up.
There's still junk in the throat and the nose.
Gunk.
Yeah. The yucks, the tua.
The tua.
That'd really be interesting, wouldn't it? Surely that's not what she was talking about.
I can surely hope not.
Gosh, little mucus going on that thing. Oh my goodness. Oh man, it is great to be here. I got to tell you.
You gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
Yeah, I just no snot, okay? Just spit is fine. No snot allowed. That just and we never thought about that. And when she's talking about the Hawk Tua and this Hawk Tua girl who's really just blowing up, by the way.
Good for her.
The way that she says that, though, when you think about it.
Oh, you got to give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. Yeah.
Right? So the hawk part of it is like the and then the poo is the other. So, I mean, that you're talking about like really, getting some nasty stuff out of there and then spitting.
Well, I got plenty of that stuff.
Exactly. So that's, I never really thought about it until just now.
I mean, I don't think there's supposed to be a whole lot of thought put into that. If we're being honest.
Well, I think the way people were, especially guys, were thinking about it was like, oh, hey, that's a great idea, Jim.
Indeed.
No doubt about it.
That's a great idea, Jim.
Yes. So, that's how we thought about it. And that's why she's getting the run she's getting.
It's not rocket science. I think we're getting a little too over analytical with the Hawk and the Tua.
Well, that's what we do here, Pledge. I mean, just think about it. As I've always, you got to get that back and then, whew. I'm just going by what she's doing.
There's, you dig too deep.
Well, it's what I do. I'm a journalist, Pledge. I use that term loosely. But that's what I was called, though, for many years, 25 of them. Let me ask you a question, Pledge, because I like Dak Prescott. Do you?
I love you, Dak.
Do you get the feeling that I don't like Dak Prescott?
I get the feeling that you would throw Dak Prescott into the garbage can in terms of quarterbacks for almost anything.
Almost anything. And the only reason I ask that, because I love the community of folks that we have on our YouTube page. And if you haven't had an opportunity to go over there and visit that at some point, you need to, because it really is a community. Well, Britt and Stacy, I must have said when we were talking about Dak that I respect the guy, and I certainly do respect the guy. But he says, if you respect Dak, I'd hate to hear you talk about him if you didn't, LOL. Look, I got no issue with Dak Prescott, the man. Nice guy, good leader. Looks like he's a great father already. I mean, all of those things I have a lot of respect. The problem in professional sports, it's about what you do when it matters. And Dak just doesn't get it done when it matters. Great regular season quarterback, but in the playoffs, he doesn't get it done. And that's the problem that I have with Dak Prescott. So that's kind of where that is. But thank you, Britton, for chiming in there. I appreciate it. AD, look on our YouTube page, says, did you see the Hawk Tua girl walking around with her own security? Wow, she needs security now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Hey, look, this is the greatest country in the world, and stuff like that. You make a stupid statement after, several drinks, I'm sure, and you get famous. I love it. So just think about that. The next time you see some reporter on the street just getting, things, you got to come up with something good. And she didn't have time to think about Hawk Tua. So obviously that's something that she does. Hey, props to her.
There's also just being drunk and funny.
Well, that's true. And she was, but now I'm just wanting the girl next to her didn't say that. So I'm thinking this girl, the Hawk Tua girl, probably that's part of her repertoire.
I think they were on different planes that night.
Maybe. So her friend was the designated driver.
I don't think she was the designated driver. I just think Haley, she went out with a mission that night, and the mission was accomplished by the time that interview happened.
She was drunk. Yeah, she was drunk for sure. No question about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. She's in Nashville, nothing wrong with that at all.
I've heard it's a really good place to do that.
Nashville is a very easy place to do that, yes, especially if you're down on whatever street that's called.
I think that's where she was.
I'm sure it was, but yeah, it's a very easy place to do that. It's a lot of fun. I've only been there once, but I remember being in bed very early because those the opportunity to drink and listen to music starts very early. So you start that early, and then, yeah, but it's a fun place. There's no question about it. A lot of fun. Driving to work today, Pledge.
Uh-oh.
And I'm stopped at a stoplight, red light, and I look over.
Somebody wanted to race you?
No, nobody that I know of. And I'm not opposed to that. They can, although I was in Chavano Park at the time, so I wouldn't do it there. But I see this brand new Tesla truck. Brand new. It had the paper plates on it. And I don't know if you've seen those or not. I got an up-close look at one at some event in the spring during Fiesta. They had it all opened up. And, man, those things are really nice on the inside. They're great. But they are ugly as hell on the outside.
I'm just not a Tesla fan in general.
Well, I don't mind Teslas. I was in an Uber one time in Vegas, and this young lady had this Tesla, and the whole roof was glass.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was really kind of cool. But I'm with you. I'm
the inside of them's cool, but the outside, I don't get something from it. And I think I figured it out. When you were 8 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, and you were like, I'm going to draw a futuristic truck. That's like what you drew when you were like 10, right?
Well, I don't remember drawing trucks when I was 10, but I might have. It's possible. I don't know if I would have drawn that. Because my idea of a truck, I mean, and they call this thing a truck, I think it's supposed to be. And you can lift the back of it up, and there's like the bed of a pickup in there, or storage, I think, if I remember correctly. But it's just the design of it. Now, look, whoever this person was that just went out and bought this thing thinks that it's awesome, right? It's awesome. So, I mean, there are people out there that like it. There's people out there that like those G-Wagon things. Mm-hmm. And I think those are ugly as hell. They're ugly as hell.
I like those. I like Jeeps, the Wranglers.
Well, Jeeps that's a whole different thing. The G-Wagon's like a square box on wheels.
That's exactly what a Jeep Wrangler is.
I don't know, man. The Jeep, at least you know what you're getting. If I'm going to pay $150,000 for a car, I kind of like to look stylish. Anyway, I digress. Now, look, I'm not here to insult anybody that's driving a Tesla truck, or I guess they're called a Super Beast, something to
Cyber Beast.
Cyber Beast. Well, it looks like a cyber. Yeah, they're ugly.
I don't like them.
They're ugly as hell.
Aesthetically, I don't like them, but I know people that do.
Well, and obviously, a lot of people like Teslas too. Look, I'm old school, as everybody knows here. I am, but if I need gas, I need to be able to pull into a gas station and fill up the car in about 5 minutes and then leave. I don't want to pull in somewhere and find that and then have to wait 30 minutes for my car to charge up. I don't want to do that. But my wife, Maggie, I think she's kind of flirting with the fact that she might want to get, if not a Tesla, some kind of an electric vehicle at some point in time in her life. But I don't think I'll ever have a car that does not run on gas.
They make hybrids of them, though.
They
right?
do make hybrids. Yeah, they do make hybrids.
So that's the compromise to where the gas is there if you need it.
I'm just always, I think, going to have a gas-powered vehicle, unless at some point in time the government makes me have an electric car. But maybe I'm at the age where once that happens, if it happens, then
you're not driving anymore.
It won't matter, right? So the bus that takes me to the old folks' home will be electric.
Just make sure it's juiced up before you head out.
Exactly right. And if it's not, it'll give a damn. Won't matter at that point in time. I just saw that today, and it was kind of weird. But hey, but if you like it, you like it. Now, AD says Google image the Tesla truck in Houston. I guess it's tricked out. And again, I looked at it on the inside, and the inside of it was pretty cool. I'm just saying the outside. It looks like a tank or something, or an old spaceship back from the Star Trek days, or something like that. And again, if you've got one and you're proud of it, I'm happy for you. You should be. And I'm sure these people that I saw today were, they're going home going, hey, check out this bad ride that I got. And I'm sure they were happy about it. Probably roll the window down, got the elbow out there going, hey, check us out. We got, But I just say it's like, they just don't do it for me. So needless to say, I won't be having a Tesla Super Beast or Cyber Beast or whatever the hell it is anytime soon. I'll just stick with my little 4-door sedan and be just happy as a lark.
What was that again?
Yeah, people are when they get a new car. It's kind of like, hey, look at me. Yeah, that's right. It's new. Just drove it off the lot. That's what you do, man. Say, hey, yeah, baby. Here it is. That's right. Yeah, I bet you can't afford this truck. I can, though. Look at me. Oh, my. Here's a question for you. What do you think about Victor Wembanyama? Everybody loves the guy, right? How many MVP awards do you think this young man will win during his career? How about NBA titles? Will he stay in San Antonio? We're going to talk about all of that. Plus, what do the Spurs really think about Stephon Castle? Jeff McDonald from the San Antonio Express News said something very interesting on a podcast. We're going to dive into all of that when we continue right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star. Will CeeDee Lamb show up for training camp or hold out for a new deal? San Antonio Sports Star is live from Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California, with the answer to that question and others. Team coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds begins Monday morning, July 29th. South Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, if you're sleeping on the hot summer styles and great prices at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just shopped there and scored stylish shirts for my husband, along with some cute crochet dresses for myself. Plus, I saved 30% with my Kohl's card. But even if you don't have one, you can still save an extra 20% on some other great finds and earn Kohl's cash. So what are you waiting for? Take your summer style from hot to sizzling and get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% off GPO, valid through July 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit JoeGomezLaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Looking for the ultimate bar experience? I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. Plus, catch the biggest sports events on massive 10-foot screens. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive near Wurzbach in 10. Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million are now up to a record $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rate. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed through quarterly and full season payouts. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. Visit circusports.com for details.
The Morning Huddle.
How about that noise that the crowd made? Oh. It's like Hank Hill when he sees Bobby sending a Valentine to his
Oh.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah, here's something that we're very proud of here at San Antonio Sports Star. Along with the Gomez Law Firm, we're going to present the first annual or the inaugural, whatever you want to say, back to school drive. It's Saturday, August 3rd from noon to 2 o'clock. Free backpacks and school supplies for all school-age children at Gomez Law Firm at 2943 Moss Rock Drive while supplies last. It's the first annual back to school drive, August 3rd, noon to 2, and is presented by Gomez Law Firm and in part by ProStar Home Care Services, Sonora Bank, Las Palapas, and, of course, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This is The Blitz. I'm Joe Reinigle. Jason Minix with the day off, but James Pledger is here eating nachos and pushing buttons. That's what he's doing in there. Those look delicious, Pledge. And, again, I didn't know, hey, Joe, you want a nacho?
Would you like to fix a plate of nachos? I have more.
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's okay. It's fine. It might spoil my dinner, Pledge.
What dinner?
The one I'm going to have eventually on a Friday night. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. I really do. And if you're off work already and your weekend has begun, congratulations. I'm happy for you. The weekend certainly is in sight. Victor Wembanyama, this guy obviously is, we're all excited about Victor Wembanyama here in San Antonio. And the sky's the limit when you think about what this guy can do. And in fact, it's such the limit that the folks at ESPN, a bunch of their so-called basketball experts, there's an article on ESPN Plus. It says Victor Wembanyama forecast MVPs, NBA titles, and Olympic medals. And I found it fascinating because they start off with a question. It says Victor Wembanyama will be the best player in the NBA by blank season. So how long will it take Victor Wembanyama to be the best player, the face of the NBA, if you will? How long? Well, according to ESPN, they think it will be the 26-27 season. 42% chance that that's when Victor Wembanyama will be the best player in the NBA, the face of the NBA, so to speak. And I guess that makes a lot of sense, although I think Wemby's going to really up his game and make a case for that next year, just because he doesn't have to go through the motions. He doesn't have to put his toe in the water to see how cold it is. He's going to hit the ground running, and there's going to be no problem at all.
I was told we were waiting on the magic year of 2025.
That's what I've been told, too, because apparently the best basketball players on the planet are going to be in that draft. They are going to be just outstanding basketball players in the draft next season, and it's just going to be a magical year. But according to the folks at ESPN, they say 26 and 27. Now, how many titles will Wemby win? Now, it doesn't say as a member of the San Antonio Spurs. It just says how many will Victor Wembanyama win? It goes 1, 2, 3, or 4. The consensus, depending on how you look at it, the percentage-wise, 37% say 2, 32% say 3. So somewhere between 2 and 3. Now, look, I look at that and I say, baloney. Hey, Tim Duncan won 5 championships. I'm thinking at least that for Victor Wembanyama, and hopefully they will all be here in San Antonio. Now, how many MVPs will Wemby win, according to the fine folks at ESPN? The consensus there is big, and it's not even close. 3 is what they're saying. 63% chance that Wemby will win 3 MVP awards throughout his career. Now, I look at that, and again, and maybe we're biased here, although I don't think we are. I think we're all realistic because you watch this young man play basketball and see the things that he can do, and it's just an incredible thing. And I think he's only going to get better. I don't think he's even scratched the surface as to how good he can be. So 3 MVP awards, I would go higher than that, quite frankly. But we'll see. That's what they say. They also asked the question, the Spurs will finish blank in the Western Conference this year. Now, of course, they went 22-60 last year. They did add a couple of veterans. So we're talking about this year. According to the folks at ESPN, they think the Spurs will make the play-in tournament. In fact, 79% is what they're saying that they will make the play-in tournament. Only 21% say that they won't do anything in the postseason. They won't make the postseason. And I look at that and say, well, that's a lofty goal. And I hope that's the case. But they won 22 games last year. If you look at last season, Golden State was the 10 seed. In the play-in tournament, they won 46 games. All right, so that's quite the improvement. And I would like to sit here and say, yeah, I think that's possible. I just don't know. That's a lot of wins for a second-year team with still a lot of young players and a Chris Paul who you don't know what you're going to get out of him. You honestly don't. And I'm just saying that. You know, if you get 50-plus games out of Chris Paul, that's great. How many minutes are you going to get out of him? All of those things make a difference. But I would say 46 wins, if that's what it takes again, I'm going to say I don't think the Spurs make the play-in. Here's the interesting question that might irritate some of you. Will Wemby spend his entire career in San Antonio? Now, look, I've been talking about this, and I know everybody, just thinks I'm a hater, but I'm not. Because whether you choose to believe it or not, Tim Duncan was very close to leaving San Antonio for the Orlando Magic. Very close. And we can all thank Doc Rivers for screwing that up for Orlando and Timmy staying here and doing the Timmy things that he had done. So all I'm saying is when Wemby's contract is coming up, whenever that happens to be, every team in the NBA is going to be ringing his phone off the hook. So it's a fact. It's going to happen. That's why I hate wasting any part of Wemby's career here in San Antonio, at least early on. According to the folks at ESPN, will Wemby spend his entire career in San Antonio? The majority say yes at 53%, but it's close on the nose at 48%. So it's almost a 50-50 split. A little bit of the majority say yes, he will. I hope the young man stays here, grows old in San Antonio, has banners all over the place, MVP awards, all of that stuff. I really, truly hope that is the case. But we have to look at what's real. People are going to come after him. They're going to. So get ready for it when that time comes. And you just have to be realistic about this. I would love to say there's no chance of that. It's not happening, but it could. It could very well happen. So that's the case. And that's what it is. But I thought that was a fascinating little question and answer. And it kind of makes you think a little bit. But I think Wemby, the sky's the limit for this guy. And healthy and players around him, I think championships, MVPs, all of the above are going to be just off the chart. And I really believe that. The other thing that I found interesting, and actually Pledge found this, I didn't know it was out there, but I found it interesting. Our good friend Jeff McDonald with the San Antonio Express News, they have a podcast, the Express News Podcast, and they were talking. And I find this interesting, and I want you to listen closely to this soundbite from Jeff McDonald from the Express News on the Spurs' feelings heading into the draft, and especially their feelings on Stephon Castle.
I came across some interesting tidbits in Sacramento that are neither here nor there, but maybe they're interesting. The Summer League is really good for us to go to because you end up just in a room or in a gym with a bunch of the staffers who know things, and it's a relaxed situation. You can just shoot the breeze, and sometimes you get information that way. And you know, I want to talk about the draft, the Castle draft. This isn't information that helps anybody now, but I just found it interesting the way the Spurs viewed the top of that draft. And it goes like this. If they had the first pick, and this surprised me because we spend so much time talking about the draft and we kind of didn't really talk about this name, but if they'd had the top pick, they would have absolutely taken Alex Sarr with the top pick.
Alex Sarr, who went to the Washington Wizards.
We wondered about his fit and blah, blah, blah. They thought if they ended up with Alex Sarr, all the others, they pictured him as like a bigger, better Jeremy Sohan that maybe they could teach to do the offensive stuff. Like the defense and the mobility would be just worth it, especially in a draft like this where everyone has flaws. If they'd had the second pick, or if the choice had been Castle or Reed Shepherd at 4, they would have gone Reed Shepherd probably just because of the shooting. And then Castle was the guy that I guess probably would have been third on their board.
So they got the third guy on their board at pick number 4.
And not a lot of interest in Reece Sachet that went first overall. It'd be interesting. I don't know what they'd have done if those first 3 guys had been gone 1 through 2, 3, and Reece Sachet was there at number 4, but weren't quite sold on him, I don't think. So that was interesting. But I was a little surprised that it was like a no-brainer that you take Sarr number 1 if they had the pick.
Interesting from Jeff McDonald. And, Jeff's been covering the Spurs for a long time. And I love what he says when you go to Summer League and you're sitting around talking and you hear some of these things. But the fact that, look, we loved Stephon Castle. And with the Spurs picking at number 4, I thought, man, this is going to be great. Hopefully the Spurs draft this guy, and it worked out that way. But to hear that Castle might have been the 3rd on their list. So had Sarr fallen to number 4, obviously they would have taken him. Reed Shepherd, they would have taken him. Neither one of those guys fell to them, obviously, and so they took Stephon Castle. And I find that interesting because Alex Sarr is struggling mightily in the summer leagues right now. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to struggle forever, but right now he is struggling in the summer league. Reed Shepherd also struggled a little bit, although it looks like he's coming out of it because he had a pretty good game, I think, the last outing out. But and we all know Stephon Castle been playing pretty well until he got hurt. He was playing pretty well in the summer league. So interesting how things work and how close you are to maybe go in a different direction. I love the behind the scenes stuff from Jeff McDonald. And it was interesting to hear that. Jeff's on vacation. I was hoping to get him on the show today to talk more about that, but he tells me he's on vacation. So I hope he's enjoying that vacation. But we'll get Jeff on the show here pretty quick and talk Spurs basketball. But think about that. A couple of things to think about. Victor Wembanyama, and we're all excited about him. And then the fact that Stephon Castle really wasn't it was 3rd on the list when it came to what the Spurs were doing. Back to Wemby, guys. That's why I don't want to waste. I don't want to slow roll this Wemby experience. And I think, man, I want to see this thing blast off a little bit. And I know all y'all are going to tell me we can't skip steps. We can't do this. We can't do that. I want to get this ball rolling. And I think Wemby certainly is ready. The Spurs, if they're not ready and they don't see the players that they want right now and all of that kind of stuff, but we're rolling into this season. And if the Spurs get 46 wins, I think everybody's going to say, man, that's successful. They're in the play-in game, play-in tournament, and who knows what might happen after that. But if they don't, and it's another season of, well, just mediocre basketball, man, I just that to me is going to be hard to take. And it's going to make 2025, the magical season of 2025, all that much more interesting to see what they do and how fast they go when it comes to that. Going to be interesting to see. Immediately, though, the Dallas Cowboys, they report to training camp next week. Next Wednesday, they are there to report and start getting ready for the beginning of the season. Well, the Jones family's been eerily quiet this offseason, eerily quiet until yesterday. Stephen Jones, well, he went on the Scoop podcast with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel and had some interesting things to say about the contract status of one Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. We'll dive into all of that when we continue right here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle. In my calendar, it's football season. Training camps are beginning. We'll look at every angle.
And how did the Spurs finish up Summer League? We'll talk about that and so much more. Starts at 6 o'clock right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, Jason Minix here for my friends at Hill Electric. When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. I know I've used Hill Electric at my house for a variety of projects through the years. They've added extra outlets in the garage because, you know, the builder never puts enough in there. They put a nice spotlight over one of my grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room. They do fantastic work and have for over 3 decades. The family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. Whatever your project is, Hill Electric has the right service for the right price. And you know what? Never a service charge, always free estimates. So it costs you nothing to figure out what it will take to get your project done. Hill Electric, a great local family-owned business. Again, never a service charge, always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or check their website, hill-electric.com. That's hill-electric.com.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner. So whether you're planning for retirement or trying to save up for your next big adventure, Vanguard will help work alongside you to set personalized investment goals. That's the value of ownership. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Jason and Joe from the Blitz. Join us at Circa Las Vegas in August for the Circa Sports Ultimate Contest Weekend.
The Blitz will be live at Circa August 22nd and 23rd, and then we're staying for the weekend. Come to Vegas with us for the Ultimate Contest Weekend.
Circa Survivor and Circa Million are back. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
So join the Blitz at Circa Las Vegas. More details and discounted rooms available online at sasportstar.com.
We all expect our home to protect everything we love. But here in Texas, we don't expect the ways water is breaking down our foundations and damaging our homes. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is shifting. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. a free home inspection from Foundation Support Specialists. Make sure your investment is protected. Get your free inspection at foundationsupportspecialists.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Mom, it's school shopping time.
On it. Ooh, Target has select supplies like crayons and glue sticks for 25 cents, plus markers for 50 cents.
Next, my new Rockstar vibe means new clothes.
Ooh, totally. These graphic tees are $6 and made to last.
And a strawberry lunch bag to match my sweet personality.
Got it. And it's only $5. Plus, get your favorite Good and Gather snacks. They're now at a new lower price.
Best team ever.
When it comes to low prices, Target has your back to school.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-579-6610. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-579-6610 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Looking for the ultimate bar experience? I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. Plus, catch the biggest sports events on massive 10-foot screens. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive near Wurzbach in 10.
San Antonio is Aggie Country. This is Aggie Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Yes, you are the home of the Aggies right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We're also home of the Dallas Cowboys right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, and we will be out in Oxnard, California, training camp. And hopefully some of this drama will be cleared up. If not before, then during our time out in Oxnard, California. Of course, the drama I'm talking about is the contract situations for one Dak Prescott, one CeeDee Lamb, and one Micah Parsons, although Parsons is kind of on the backside of that, I would say. Obviously, the most important is CeeDee Lamb because, well, he ain't coming to camp until he gets a contract. At least that's the indication right now. And as far as Dak, he's the quarterback this year. There's no question about it. The question is what happens to the future of Dak Prescott in Dallas and so on and so forth. Well, the Jones family has been very quiet, eerily quiet, as a matter of fact, throughout this offseason. And there were rumors for that. Our good friend John Machota from The Athletic, who will join us at 5:15, by the way, said Jerry was, kind of pissed off, just like a lot of the fans with the way the season ended. Just the dumpster fire that the Cowboys were against the Green Bay Packers in that playoff game. So that could be the reason that he's not talking. But Stephen Jones did the Scoop podcast that just started, by the way, with the Athletics' Diana Rossini and
Scoop
Chase.
City.
The Scoop, what is it?
Scoop City.
Scoop City. Okay, Scoop City podcast. Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel. And they had an interview with Stephen Jones. And one of the questions that was asked is, Stephen, why are you waiting on these deals?
Well, we're just now to the point where we can do a CD and a Micah. And, certainly you want to see these things play out. And certainly, a lot of times you want to make sure, certainly CD had his breakout year this year in terms of, really having a mega year in terms of his numbers and his statistics. And of course, Micah just became eligible. And of course, we've done a deal with Dak. So, after that, we've done Diggs. We got him done early. And, unfortunately, when you're paying these quarterbacks, the kind of money these teams are having to pay them, and it's not just a handful of them. There's, Chase, you follow it, I'm sure there's 12 to 16 guys that are making 40+ million bucks. And, then you're restricted to paying 5 or 6 guys. And believe me, it doesn't feel good to watch a Abadaz leave the organization. It doesn't feel good to watch, watch these guys that we drafted and developed and playing at a good level, walk away. But unfortunately, we can't do that. Now, the good news is we feel like we've done a good job of drafting again, and you get the Guytons of the world and the BBs of the world and a Nealon who's a pass rusher. You got to keep bringing these guys in because that's where you get the relief under the cap, is having your young guys play at a high level and play right away.
Interesting. Well, now we're just now see some of that doesn't make any sense, right? When he says we're just now to the point that we can do that. I think they've been able to do it, although they're maybe trying to rework some numbers and do all that kind of stuff. The other question that I thought was interesting is, like, why are you waiting on the deals, number one? But then, okay, then if now's the time, when are these deals going to get done?
Well, those things take time, and we're talking about deals here. When you're talking about CD and Dak, and somebody like a Micah coming up. I mean, you're talking about two players that aren't quarterbacks that feel like they, ought to be a little bit like Jefferson, the top paid 9 quarterbacks in the league, and then of course you have Dak, who's obviously his resume speaks for itself. I think he was second MVP voting last year. He's just had an extraordinary career here in Dallas. And, those things just take time when you're talking about the amount of money involved. And, of course, we're trying to a little bit play Houdini and how to keep all these guys around Dak and keep these players we were fortunate enough to draft. And, when you start stacking them up like that, it's a challenge. It's not that it's not doable, but you certainly got to, have some give and take. If you want to do that. I know the Vikings there with Jefferson, when they, made that inordinate deal at the receiver spot, they don't have one player on their team other than Jefferson making over $20 million. And of course, we got a big one in Dak, and we got Diggs right there. And then you got Zach Martin and D-Law. And so we got a lot of guys making, quite a bit of money. And, it's no excuses. We think we can get this done. No, we can get it done. But it just takes time.
We think we can get this done. No, wait a minute. We know we can get it done. Well, a lot of Cowboy fans are saying just get it done then. Well, especially when it comes to Dak Prescott, because you look at Dak and you look at what's behind him, Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. Trey Lance is going to get every opportunity to win that job, the second string, and beat out Cooper Rush. They're going to give him every opportunity because, well, they have to. They gave up a 4th-round draft pick for this guy, and they got to give him an opportunity to earn the second-string quarterback job. But when it comes to Dak, Stephen, again, and they've said this over and over and over again, that they want to get Dak's deal done.
Well, the answer to that question is we are optimistic that we can get these guys done. I know Dak, our goal is to get him done. He knows that. We're having conversations and, with his agent, with Dak personally, both Jerry and myself. And he knows our goal is to keep him here. He also understands the challenges. And, you see, what happens to teams when you do have these high-priced quarterbacks. At some point, it's a challenge to keep everybody. Obviously, the Chiefs are an example of that, but they were able to, survive not keeping Tyreek Hill and, some other top players. I think they let, one of the top corners in the league go this year, after this season. So, you have to make some tough choices along the way, but we're optimistic that we can do that. And we'll continue to grind away on that. I know, between fans and media, that's your job, is to ask when and can you and what happens if you don't. But, our eyes on the ball and in terms of getting these things done. And we're not thinking about what happens if you don't. We're trying to get the job done.
You read between the lines there, and he talked about all the people that are making a lot of money. If the Cowboys do work a deal with Dak Prescott, would that mean that maybe, I don't know, a Trayvon Diggs could be out?
Probably DeMarcus Lawrence.
Well, sure. But, I mean, DeMarcus's contract is just about over.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know. He's talking about tough decisions. Is a Trayvon Diggs on the block? That Zach Martin's going to retire after this year for all intents and purposes. So
Frees up another 20-something.
It does. So it would be interesting to see if there are any tough decisions to be made, if indeed Dak Prescott, or is he the tough decision that they're going to make? And they're going to let him walk or try and orchestrate, with his blessing, of course, because he has a no-trade clause, a trade of some sort.
My favorite is he brings up Justin Jefferson's market-setting deal, and he's like, well, no, they don't have to pay anybody over $20 million outside of Justin Jefferson. I'm like, that's great, because you let a $60 million quarterback walk away to go to the Falcons, and a $30 million pass rusher walk away to the Houston Texans.
All of those things are true, and those are tough decisions that he's made, that he's talking about.
And now they're starting over at the bottom.
Well, they are, but they've got what they hope is their future quarterback in McCarthy. They hope that that's their future. They've got their wide receiver, who's the best wide receiver in the NFL at this moment in time. So, and I don't think the Vikings have really, I mean, I'm not saying they're Super Bowl caliber, but that team is still, I think, solid. Now, what kind of noise they make is going to depend on the quarterback play, a lot of it. But I think they're solid. But those are the tough decisions that sometimes need to be made. Now, look, if the Cowboys would have made a run in the playoffs last year and gotten to the NFC Championship game and even lost that game, didn't get to the Super Bowl, I think everything that you're talking about and hearing the Jones family now would be completely different. I think Dak would have been signed. I think CD signed. I think, it just makes it easier. But the Cowboys management was frustrated, was upset. And so Steven says, when he was asked, he understands the fans' frustration.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of people want to, somewhat be critical of the organization, of Jerry and myself, of Coach McCarthy, of our team. And of course, Dak being the quarterback gets the brunt of it. You know that, Chase, of our success in the playoffs. But at the same time, you got to, certainly recognize that we've won 36 regular season games in 3 years, which, of course, we're playing 17 now. I think the Patriots may have done that, doing it in 16 games on a 3-year run. But, we're having really great success in the regular season, and there's no question. I understand the criticism from our fans. I understand criticism from media. We all understand that, in terms of not winning the big game in the playoffs. And we certainly got to take that next step. I know we could go out there and no one's assuming anything and win, have another great regular season. And no one's going to give, and they shouldn't, no one's going to, really give, hey, they're going to get it done this time until they see it. And we understand that. We put ourselves in that position with, our playoff winning percentage. And we do have to take that next step, but I certainly believe we can do it.
What's interesting there is I think you kind of see behind the scenes the negotiations a little bit. As they're telling Dak and his agent, look, man, I mean, we got to get it done in the playoffs. Yeah, you want $60 million a year, but we got to get it done in the playoffs. And then you hear the Justin Jefferson thing with CeeDee Lamb. Well, yeah, they can pay him that, but nobody else is making over $20 million. I mean, CD, you got to give us a break. I can hear this going on as Steven is talking about this, and just the negotiations and the stuff that they're using. They're using that stuff. That they are. And it's interesting.
I'm CD. Let me go to a team that's got nobody over $20 million on the roster.
Yeah, suppose. But I mean, if you talk about starting over, if you get rid of CeeDee Lamb, you got nothing else. You got nothing else there. And it's the same with Dak Prescott, quite frankly. And I blame the Cowboys for that, for sure, because I think they should have been doing something a little bit better, trying to find the next, if you will. I mean, look at Atlanta pissing off Kirk Cousins when they draft Penix. But they give that young man an opportunity to sit behind Kirk Cousins for a couple of years, and he's going to be ready to roll. There's nothing wrong. Jordan Love's another perfect example. You draft him, pissed off Aaron Rodgers severely. But you know what? Now you're in a position where you can make the difficult decision of letting Aaron Rodgers go to the Jets, and you're ready to roll.
Think about it. They did it with Tom Brady, with Jimmy Garoppolo. They
Same
did it with
thing.
Jimmy Garoppolo, with Trey Lance.
That's what I'm saying. And so sometimes it doesn't matter if they would have drafted somebody and pissed off Dak Prescott. Who cares? You are ready to roll, and teams do it all the time. And that's the problem, that the Cowboys have not done it, and they're not ready. Look, that's the reason why they gave up a 4th-round draft pick for Trey Lance. They're hoping that maybe that would put some pressure on Dak Prescott. The only problem is that we've seen Trey Lance play. I mean, there's no mystery there, and he played horrible football in San Francisco, not to mention the fact that the knock on this kid was he's got all the tools physically, but the mental part of it hadn't been so good. Now, maybe that's changed. Maybe as you mature, you grow up, and those things change a little bit. And we're going to see, Cowboy fan, you're going to see Trey Lance perform in the preseason. He's going to perform a lot. He's going to get a lot of playing time, and it's going to be interesting to see how that figures into what they end up doing with Dak Prescott. And I just think it's going to be a fascinating preseason for the Cowboys, fascinating camp, and all of that kind of stuff, just because of what we're talking about. And I cannot wait for the State of the Cowboys address, because we haven't heard from Jerry Jones. And when we talk to John Machota here in about, 30 minutes or so, he's got to be licking his chops to talk to Jerry and find out what they're thinking and how this is going. Stephen, he says what he says, and you can kind of read between the lines, but you're really not it's not a transparent thing like we're going to get this done. I mean, I just keep hearing you got to make hard decisions, and these guys are making all this money, and yada, yada, yada. And I just think that there is going to be a tough decision to be made, whether that's a Dak Prescott or somebody else out to make room for that Dak Prescott deal. It's going to be fascinating, which is why I love covering the Dallas Cowboys. Been doing it a long time, and it always seems the same.
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
There is always some sort of drama, and it is just fascinating. No question about it. Wow. Yeah, which begs the question. With all the drama on the Cowboys roster this year and the high expectations of the Houston Texans, who's going to have a better record? We'll pose that question, and we'll do that when we continue with the Blitz right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, though, I want to tell you about my friends at Stevens Roofing. We've had a lot of rain, man. A lot of rain, and when it's not raining, it's hot, and that's all taking a toll on your roof. Look, you want to make sure with that, if you need anything when it comes to your roof, that you've got somebody that's going to take care of it, somebody with a pristine reputation for doing the job right. And that is Stevens Roofing. Look, they've been in business in San Antonio and South Texas for many, many years, and they're going strong. And you don't do that unless you're doing the job right. And Stevens Roofing is doing the job right. In fact, the quality roof overhead by Stevens Roofing means comfort, it means confidence, and certainly it means peace of mind. So when you're in the market for repairs, a replacement roof, an upgrade, or if you just want them to come out and inspect your roof to make sure that everything is okay, Stevens Roofing is the company to call. They've got the experience, they've got the local roots, they've got it all for homes and roofs here in San Antonio and South Texas. And it's not just residential projects that they do. They also do commercial projects as well. You got a company office building that you need a new roof on. Stevens Roofing is the company you need to call. That number is 210-785-0994, online at stevensroofing.net. Remember Stevens Roofing. You're going to need them at some point in time, so remember them. They are the absolute best. 210-785-0994.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increase libido, increase metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
Looking for the ultimate bar experience? I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. Plus, catch the biggest sports events on massive 10-foot screens. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive near Wurzbach in 10.
Pros, now's your chance to find the deals you need during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 20% off select Werner and Little Giant ladders. Plus, save $60 on a DeWalt 20-volt max 2-tool combo kit. Was $229, now $169. Shop the brands you trust in-store or online today. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 7/26. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Why wait for the weekend? Twin Peaks is serving scratch food and pouring quality cocktails every day after dark. Visit a Twin Peaks near you and experience the best late night in the league. Today, tomorrow, or any day of the week. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Okay, if you're sleeping on the hot summer styles and great prices at Kohl's, you're missing out. I just shopped there and scored stylish shirts for my husband, along with some cute crochet dresses for myself. Plus, I saved 30% with my Kohl's card. But even if you don't have one, you can still save an extra 20% on some other great finds and earn Kohl's cash. So what are you waiting for? Take your summer style from hot to sizzling and get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% off GPO, valid through July 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
The Morning Huddle.
The best thing about Whataburger is they make it to order. The worst thing about Whataburger is they make it to order.
Truth.
Just so you understand that.
I get it, but how long can it take to scramble a few eggs? Come on. I get that with a burger, but scramble up some eggs, throw them in a tortilla. It's the easiest thing.
you still don't get it. You'll get it.
You think, right?
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, Big League Baseball is back after the All-Star break. The Houston Astros just a game back of the Seattle Mariners in the AL West standings. They open up a series in Seattle starting tonight. First pitch at 9:10. Texas Rangers sit in third behind Houston. They open up a series at home against the Baltimore Orioles. It's a game, by the way, you can catch on your home for Rangers baseball. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star beginning at 6:30.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
For the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is 5 o'clock on a Friday. If you're getting off work, congratulations. You made it. The weekend is here. Happy Friday. Happy weekend, everybody. My name is Joe Reinagel. My partner, Jason Minix, he's out today. He started his weekend yesterday, in fact, that guy. Minix just posted a picture Pledge. I guess he's in some place there in New York.
Chickens or the
There
ducks
were
or whatever.
ducks. Did you see that?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Now, I don't know about y'all. I'm not a big fan of duck, and I have tried it. But I wish they'd take the head off. You know, they're hanging there. They're cooked, it looks like, but you see the duck bill, and it's like I look at that and go, I'm sorry, before they slice it up and put it on a sandwich or whatever the hell they're doing with it. Ah, my goodness. I guess Minix likes that and duck or whatever. They're just looking around, but I don't know. Just take the head off. I don't want what I'm about to eat looking at me. I just don't. I mean, you know, I just don't want it looking at me. I just find that creepy as hell.
You got to make eye contact, Joe.
I guess I don't want to. I mean, when I order a steak, I'm not looking at the cow in the eye or whatever, a fish. Oh man, I just take the head off, please. It may make me happier. I got something on our chat thing. What's that called, Pledge? WhatsApp. This morning from Ryan, and it very simply talks about the Cowboys and the Texans. And I thought it was interesting because it starts out not necessarily who you think is going to have more wins, although we're going to talk about that, but whose offensive foundation would you rather have? And it starts like this: is it Texans or Cowboys? This comes from Fox NFL. And for the Houston Texans, their offensive core reads like this: C.J. Stroud at quarterback, running back Joe Mixon, wide receiver Stephon Diggs, and then tight end Dalton Schultz. And then they compare that to Dallas's offensive core of quarterback Dak Prescott, running back Zeke Elliott, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and tight end Jake Ferguson. Now, just by that core, not the rest of the team, but that core, who would you rather have, the Cowboys or the Texans? And I thought that was pretty fascinating. If I had to look, and we'll go through this one by one, because Pledge and I had some pretty good thoughts on all of those particular players. But you can chime in as well. 656 ESPN, 656-3776. Who would you rather have, and who's going to have more wins this year, the Cowboys or the Texans? Let's go to the phone lines right now. Joshua is waiting to chime in on who has more wins. Joshua, welcome to the Blitz.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Glad I could call in. Lovely show. It's always amazing when you go solos, and you do amazing jobs.
You're very kind. Thank you.
Hey, and just like the Texans are going to do an amazing job this year and have, at worst, 11 wins, but I think they're a 14-win team.
14?
Yeah, if you look at the front end of the schedule, you got mainly two teams that look like it could be tough, and that's the Jets, Lions, maybe the Bills, depending on what the Bills are, and all that are tough games, which is going to be like Miami, Kansas City, Baltimore, are all back end of the schedule. So you got a couple layups in the beginning to where they can kind of learn, get their groove, find out what team they are, and then by that time they're hopefully clicking on all cylinders going into the bye week and maybe beat Baltimore or Kansas City once, and they're going to have a good year.
We lost. There you are. Yeah, we lost you for a minute, Joshua. I get where you're coming from. I get it. And look, I think the Texans are going to be good. I love the moves they've made. I love the aggressiveness. But I'm not quite as optimistic on the 14 wins. That's a lot for anybody. Again, though, I think the Texans and the Jaguars, it's going to come down to them to see who wins that division. I think Jacksonville's going to be much improved. It all depends on the quarterback play for both teams, quite frankly. But we'll see. But don't get me wrong. I love what the Texans have done. I love how aggressive they have been, not only with the draft when they got Will Anderson Jr. and C.J. Stroud, bam, bam, back to back, but then adding a Stephon Diggs, a Joe Mixon, a Danielle Hunter, All of that in the offseason has just been spectacular. And Nick Caserio, their general manager, deserves a hell of a lot of credit for that. He also hired D'Amico Ryans, by the way. But Caserio was asked how the Texans choose the players that they want playing for them.
You know, we feel we have a good team. We feel we have a lot of great dudes in this building that care about football. I would say that one of the things that D'Amico's talked about is one of the things that we're looking for. Like, do you have competitive enthusiasm and competitive stamina on a day-to-day basis? Do you put the team first? Are you a great teammate? Are you focused on the team and not worried about yourself? So that's our responsibility, to find players that have that mindset and share our collective belief and to bring them in the building. If they don't possess that, then quite frankly, they're not going to be here. So hopefully we've assembled a team with the right attitude, with the right mindset, that are focused on the right things, which is winning and not individual performance, because in the end, it's about how the team does, not about how one person does.
And I love that answer, because what that tells me is they're building a culture. And a lot of that culture is Caserio, yes, number one, but mostly it's the character and the culture that D'Amico Ryans wants. He, I guarantee you, has talked with Caserio and said, look, I want these kind of guys. I want these kind of guys, kind of like what Pop says. You leave your ego at the door. You want to come in here, you're going to play for the Houston Texans, and that's the way that it is. And I think that's exactly what D'Amico and Caserio think. In fact, Caserio was asked how he and D'Amico together make those roster decisions.
Yeah, we talk every day. We go through the team. We talk about individual players. We talk about the position group. How do we feel about it? Do we want to make a change? Do we want to make an adjustment? And you just have to be careful. You don't want to make a knee-jerk reaction or response based on 1 or 2 days of practice. Oh, this player had a bad practice. Let's run him out of here. I mean, that's not fair to the player, but it's very fluid. We're talking about it. Are we a little light here? Maybe do we need an extra body here? Or you know what? This really isn't working out. Maybe we move on from this player. Maybe there's a better option. But you're not going to move on from a player unless you feel like you have a better alternative, a better option. So otherwise, you're just shuffling paper. So, but we talk all the time. We talk about the team. We talk on a regular basis. We talked over the summer about the team. So, I mean, it's something that we're very conscious of. And I mean, it's very fluid and it's a very organic process.
Very organic process. Well, I love it. And look, D'Amico Ryans is not that far removed from playing in the NFL, right? So he's got relationships and he knows what these players have to go through. He knows what it was like in his locker rooms. And so I you know, the character and the type of player that he wants. And I just think it's important. And it is D'Amico Ryans' locker room. Caserio facilitates what D'Amico and he look at and want, but make no mistake, it is D'Amico Ryans' locker room. And I love Renee on our YouTube. So he says, Joe, you're saying the Houston's not skipping steps. Well, I would say that they skipped a lot of steps, Renee, because you go out and you get a veteran like Stephon Diggs. You go out and get a veteran like Joe Mixon. You go out and get a veteran like Danielle Hunter. Those guys are veterans that you add to a young group. And you be aggressive with what you're doing, and bam. I would say that that's skipping steps. They want to be good. They want to be good now while they've got a rookie quarterback, while they've got some young players. So, yeah, Renee, Rudolph, whatever the hell your name is today, they're skipping steps. And I wish some other teams would do that, like one here in San Antonio. Cowboys are a big topic. Obviously, we're going out there. They report to training camp next week. John Machota with The Athletic is going to join us next when we continue right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Before you fire up the grill this weekend, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. There are 2 locations, locally owned, full service, and they have everything you need to up your grilling game. Want to do some steaks this weekend, maybe some ribs, beef ribs, pork ribs, English crosscuts. Their season fajitas are fantastic. Tri-Tips, picanha sausage burgers. Tri-County has what you need with the quality you expect, and you can always take advantage of their Pick 5 for 25. Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Looking for the ultimate bar experience? I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. Plus, catch the biggest sports events on massive 10-foot screens. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive near Wurzbach in 10.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circus Survivor and Circa Million are now up to a record $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rate. Circus Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed through quarterly and full season payouts. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. Visit circusports.com for details.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. James Pledger is producing this fabulous show. Jason Minnick's hanging out somewhere in New York City, somewhere, having a good time. But our good friend John Machota is here, as he always is on Fridays, about this time. And, well, it's big news today, John. John, of course, covers the Dallas Cowboys with The Athletic. And we finally got to hear from a member of the Jones family, thanks to one of your colleagues and Chase Daniel. Were you impressed with what Stephen Jones had to say?
I don't know that impressed would be the word. I don't know. I think it's pretty similar to what has been said this offseason. And frankly, the way I feel about it is I think a lot of Cowboys fans feel the same way, is that, like, I don't know, like the words really don't matter. Like, even if those words include we're having contract talks, it's, let's see the action. The action's what tells me something. And, you know, this stuff was a major talking point major talking point, and not just in Dallas, in the entire league, in March. And we're about to go to training camp, next week, and none of it has changed. So I just think when several months go by, the words just don't carry that much weight. You need to see the actions, and the actions right now is we're in no different spot than we were back in March.
Yeah, John, it did sound eerily familiar. But what's concerning to me, and why you try to read between the lines when it comes to a Stephen Jones, even a Jerry Jones, but what's concerning to me is they're talking about making tough decisions, and the money's not there, and Justin Jefferson got paid, but nobody's making over $20 million over there, and it's like all of these things. I kind of get the feeling, and I'm curious what you think, that these are kind of the negotiations that are going on that we don't hear about. But we did today during this interview.
Yeah, it is. And that's some leveraging, if you will, amongst star players, because it's one of those things where, and honestly, I think it's kind of good business not to sit there and say, hey, we're just going to make all three of these guys the highest paid players. Like, we're going to make Dak the highest paid quarterback. We're going to make CeeDee the highest paid wide receiver. And we're going to make Micah the highest paid non-quarterback. Like, I don't think you can say that negotiating wise. I think you want them all to give a little bit, but you need at least one guy, is probably what they're hoping for, will give something to take a little bit less to try and keep the other talented players around them. And they're trying to play hardball with, well, maybe we won't be able to keep all three if every one of you wants to get paid at the top of the market. So and I get what Steven's saying about, talking about Justin Jefferson. The Vikings don't have the contracts that the Cowboys currently have with forget those top three, but a Zach Martin is paid well, and Trayvon Diggs, and that is true. And then you're going to have to pay Tyler Smith, and that's not going to be cheap either. And so, no, a lot of that is factual, but at the same time, for a team that really doesn't do anything in free agency, the thing they always sell you in free agency is, well, we draft and develop, and then what happens is that when our guys develop, we pay them. Well, the three most important players in your team right now, they all are in a situation where they're going to be needing new contracts, and none of those contracts are done yet.
John Machota, who covers the Dallas Cowboys for The Athletic. John, he kept saying tough decisions, and I just wonder, and obviously I guess the toughest decision would be to let Dak play it out and walk. But could it be that, I don't know, you want to keep Dak, you want to sign CD, you want to make sure you've got money for Micah, that somebody else might be a tough decision? He kept talking about Tyreek Hill, for example, with Kansas City. Could there be a surprise player that maybe the Cowboys say or work a deal or a trade with somebody? I don't know. I'm trying to make sense out of what he said, and which is a difficult thing to do, obviously, as you know. But could it be somebody that we're not thinking about?
I mean, it could. But when I say could, I put it at a very small percentage, because Jerry Jones is still calling the shots. And if Jerry Jones owns the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think he trades Tyreek Hill. Now, the result from that is that they might not be coming off of back-to-back Super Bowls right now. Maybe they don't have enough money to sign some other players, and maybe they don't even win these last two Super Bowls. But Jerry Jones loves his stars, and he doesn't generally let them leave in the primes of their career. And so whether you talk about CD or Micah, I don't see either of them being traded, and I don't think either of them are being let out of the building. And I would say the same about Dak, except for the fact that Dak has the no trade, no franchise tag clause. So he controls everything. Whereas with Micah and CD, they can be upset and talk about how they need new contracts and stuff, but you can keep franchise tagging them, much like we saw them do with Dak. And obviously those players will not be happy with that happening, but you can technically do that, and that keeps them on your team. Whereas with Dak, you can't do that. And so that's why he would be the one that's the most likely. If you weren't going to have all three of those guys, as we sit here today, he'd be the most likely person out. Now, I like we've talked about many times, I think that's a really risky thing to do, because I just think there's a far greater chance you end up worse at the quarterback position than better if you go in that direction. But he's the only one that there's really a moving piece right now. I think CD's contract gets done first because he won't show up to training camp. That leverage will help him get, the deal, kind of like Zach Martin did last year. And so I do think that one gets ironed out within the next month. But the Dak one to me is the most interesting right now, just because this is a team that doesn't do deals like that during the season. And so it's like, well, you didn't do it in March. You haven't done it since. We're already now in the start of training camp. if you don't do it during training camp, then you're clearly letting him play this final season out under that deal, and that's a risky thing.
There's no question about it. John Machota, who covers the Dallas Cowboys for The Athletic. John, back to CeeDee Lamb for a minute, and I'm trying to figure all of this stuff out. If Jerry or Steven came out today and said, we're going to slap the franchise tag on CeeDee Lamb, do you still think he holds out and doesn't report, doesn't sign that franchise tag and maybe force the Cowboys into a contract?
Well, he does still have a year left on that 5th year on his rookie deal, so that wouldn't come until the off season. So they could very well say, hey, you got to play out this final year. We're not going to give you a new contract. And if that was be the case, then CD would show up week 1 most likely, but I would not expect to see him at all at training camp. And frankly, I don't think it's a good idea to try and make him go into the final year of his deal, because you look at this offense, you look at what they did at running back, you look at the changes that are on the offensive line. I just see a lot of teams. I mean, at least all the smart ones, at least all the good ones, doing everything they can to take away CD when they play the Cowboys this year. And so what does that mean? That means you're putting 2-3 guys over on CeeDee Lamb to make sure, hey, if the Cowboys are going to beat us on offense, they're going to do it with these other guys. We're taking this guy away. And sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. But the last thing you want if you're the Cowboys is to sit there and not give CD a contract and then have him go into this final year of the 5th year of his rookie deal. And he's having multiple games where he's only getting 3-4 targets because they're like, well, we're not going to keep forcing it to him. He's got 3 guys around him. Like, that's not going to be good for everything. I mean, we've already seen times in the past where CD's frustrated on the sidelines, not getting the ball. It's a lot easier to handle that when teams are taking you away, when you are making $34, $35 million a year and you just got a new contract.
I tell you what, it's interesting. And I know that you have to be, I wouldn't say thrilled, but I mean, my goodness, we're going into camp and they report next week. And with all of these questions just surrounding this team, it is going to be very interesting for guys like you, guys like me, as we go there and cover this team. And I can't wait for Jerry's State of the Cowboys address. You guys are, I'm sure, going to pepper him with questions about Dak and CD.
Yeah, there's no question about that. That's the biggest storylines for sure, or why aren't any of these contracts done? Just like they were the main storylines going into the draft back in April. And so by no means, there will not be any shortage of storylines. The problem is, though, when you talk about the fans, is this has happened so much with the drama with the Dallas Cowboys, where that stuff is interesting to a lot of people, but when they're not winning games and they're having these 3 consecutive seasons they've had where they tease you and thinking that they're finally getting over the hump, and then they don't, and then they disappoint you in epic fashion like they did in that wild card game at home against the Packers. I think that there's a lot of fans that aren't even going to care about the drama of what Jerry has to say, just because they look at the team in its totality and be like, hold on. Like, yeah, the drama stuff's fun, but also, how are you selling to me that this team's going to be any better than those ones in the years past? And I don't think Jerry, as great of a salesman as he is, I don't even think he can sell it to anybody right now.
That's a good point. John Machota covers the Dallas Cowboys with The Athletic. I'm looking forward to next week and getting into it and see what it's all about. But you're right. And I've seen, you got to wonder about the NFC East in general. Now, Philadelphia is going to be there. A lot of people are saying that they think Washington's going to be much improved. Do you think there's a scenario with this particular Cowboy team, even if they sign Dak and CD, that they're the 3rd team in that NFC East?
Well, there's definitely a scenario. I don't think it's a great chance, though. I would put that at like a, I don't know, 20% chance, if that, maybe 10. I think it's far more likely that it's like the seasons of the past, where there still is a lot of talent on this Cowboys roster. I just don't think it's a better roster, but it's still a good enough roster to where the Cowboys and Eagles, I think it'll be a 2-team race. The reason you factor in a team like Washington is just because of how different the NFC East is from all the other divisions. When you go down the list of every other division, all 7 other divisions in the NFL, every one of them, it's like there's only 2 or 3 years between having like a repeat champion. And you go to the NFC East and it's like, yep, mid-2000s. Like, there's just always something weird that happens in the NFC East, unlike any other division in football. And so because of that, I think that's the reason where you'd be like, well, hey, there's been, and hey, the Cowboys have benefited from that. They're 2014. Nobody thought that they would be a team that ended up doing that. Heck, 2016 after Romo went down and Dak stepped in, nobody thought they would be the one that won the division. So it's such a wild division with the way that things have happened that, yeah, of course, you could see a path where Jaden Daniels comes in and just, has a CJ Stroud type rookie year or Robert Griffin type rookie year, and they stun a lot of people for sure. But I just think that that's unlikely. I think it's far more likely that this division again, as it's been for several years now, comes down to the Cowboys and Eagles, and I think that they're pretty close.
John, I've got to ask you because Jason and I sat here. It was earlier in the week, and we took your fan survey that you put out every year, and the questions were fascinating, by the way. So I can't wait to see the results. But you have to have a great time when you see what the responses are from the fans when you put those questions out.
I do, and it's gotten good return on investment. A lot of people seem to be into it because it gives them a chance to kind of voice their opinion. And one of the questions was like, what frustrates you most about the franchise? And it's going to take me a while to go through all those responses because, several of them are several paragraphs long, and a lot of it has to do with Jerry Jones, not to surprise anybody. But yeah, no, it is always entertaining because I do think we have a good grasp, whether you're talking about, talking about them on the radio and hearing from fans or social media. I think we have a better understanding now more than ever on what the fan base feels, not just in Dallas, but nationally. And certainly when you do surveys like that, it comes across well that, people are passionate about the team. And, but it also shows you too, that it's been 28 years since they won a championship or got to the NFC Championship game. And so there's a lot of frustration, and rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely. And we feel it here too in San Antonio. I mean, from the Cowboy fans here, and we hear it all the time. And the one thing that I really don't see, because look, if you're a Cowboy fan, John, and you know this better than anybody, there's always hope. Even if you're upset with what happened in the playoffs, eventually you get to that time, Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. This year, I don't hear any of that, and it really surprises me because of the die-hardness, for lack of a better word, of the Cowboy fan.
I completely agree. And I don't remember if it was in the third quarter or the fourth quarter of that Green Bay game, but I tweeted out something along the lines of, it's going to take a long time for Cowboys fans to believe in this team again, just because it was another third consecutive season of 12 wins. You feel like you're getting over the hump. The team's relatively healthy going into the playoffs. You get real lucky that you're able to get the 2 seed and play at home and host a playoff game when, frankly, it didn't look like you were going to get the chance to do that. And then you get to play a home game, being a team that had been the NFL's best team at home over the last 2 seasons. Like, everything's set up for it to be like, all right, they got to be finally making a run here. And for them not to do that, I believed it at that time, and I believe it now even more. Like, of course there's going to be always diehards. They probably have the biggest fan base in sports, so you're always going to have your diehards. But I think there's a lot more people now, more than ever, that are real skeptical about believing in anything. And that includes if they start out this season hot. Like, the only way you're getting this fan base to be, on fire and all the way back in it is to finally win some games in January.
No doubt about it. He is John Machota. He covers the Dallas Cowboys for The Athletic. Subscribe to The Athletic. A lot of good stuff there, including that fan survey that Jason and I took. I can't wait to see the results of that, by the way, John. When does that come out? How long until that comes out?
That'll be out Monday morning. So
Monday morning.
But I'm going to do some work on it today and tomorrow. But yeah, it'll be posted Monday morning.
Well, I can't wait to see it. And John, can't wait to see you up in Oxnard, my friend. It's coming, and it'll be here next week.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, John, thanks so much. You can follow John Machota on Twitter at John Machota. It's Jon Machota. So he is one of the best in the business. There's no question about it. And, of course, John joins us via the Buyers Barricade guest line. All guests, in fact, appear via the Buyers Barricade guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. John is always an optimistic guy. He really is. Very optimistic guy. You talk to him about the Cowboys, and always he covers them very well, but he's always got that optimistic tone. And I tell you what, just knowing John as long as I've known him, I've never heard his voice and just kind of the I don't know what word I'm looking for, but he just doesn't really believe what's happening, kind of like the rest of us when it comes to this Cowboys football team. So I'm looking forward to next week and the State of the Cowboys address by Jerry Jones, how he answers those questions, and see if there is any movement between now and then, especially. And I think, again, CeeDee Lamb has got to be taken care of and taken care of quickly. So we will see what happens when it comes to the Cowboys. Always that drama, and I love it. It is fantastic. Can't wait to get out there. Really can't wait to get out there. Michael Gelkin, another reporter, is stepping down. He works for the Dallas Morning News, and it's kind of a sad thing, but he's got a new family, he says, and he's going to Washington, D.C. So we're going to miss Michael Gelkin, but just want to thank him for everything he's done with the Dallas Morning News and covering the Dallas Cowboys. It is fantastic. All right, we've been talking about Houston. We've been talking about Dallas. Who's going to do better? We've been talking about Victor Wembanyama. We're going to kind of wrap up all of those and put a bow on all three of those subjects when we return right here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Have you made your tee times out at the Golf Club of Texas yet for this weekend? I hope you have, because that's supposed to be a nice weekend. And with the rain that we've had, man, it's going to be plush. Simply plush out there. The grass is going to be green. The greens are going to be rolling beautifully out there. Make your plans to get out there and play some golf at the Golf Club of Texas. Look, it's not a private club, but it certainly has that country club feel. Open to the public 7 days a week. That is for sure. And, well, they've got the friendliest staff in Texas, not to mention the best course conditions. And I mentioned they've put in brand new cart paths out there. They've resided all over the place. And with this rain, man, that is going to take off. It is simply going to be beautiful. And let me tell you about the food. They've got a great family-friendly restaurant called the Tin Cup. So even if you're not a golfer, you can take the family, you can hang out with your friends. It is the best sit-down restaurant in that part of San Antonio. It's not going to break the bank to take the family out to eat. In fact, you ought to make plans to go out there tonight, because beginning at 7 o'clock, Crossfire is going to be playing out there. So you're going to have some live music out at the Golf Club of Texas. You can have dinner, have a few drinks, enjoy yourself on what is a great Friday night listening to the sound of Crossfire. It's a Golf Club of Texas. It's right there on Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90, whether it's for dinner at the Tin Cup, a round with your buddies, your next tournament, go check them out. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle. In my calendar, it's football season. Training camps are beginning. We'll look at every angle.
And how did the Spurs finish up Summer League? We'll talk about that and so much more. Starts at 6 o'clock right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Look no further than the I-10 Ice House, your neighborhood sports headquarters with over a decade of excellence. Catch every thrilling moment on massive 10-foot screens, whether it's the big game or that must-see pay-per-view event. And don't miss out on their daily happy hour specials. I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive near Wurzbach in 10. Proudly serving our community for over 10 years. I-10 Ice House.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? we have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone. Auto.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at Advanced Auto Parts. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roof. It's Jason and Joe from the Blitz. Join us at Circa Las Vegas in August for the Circa Sports Ultimate Contest Weekend.
The Blitz will be live at Circa August 22nd and 23rd, and then we're staying for the weekend. Come to Vegas with us for the Ultimate Contest Weekend.
Circa Survivor and Circa Million are back. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
So join the Blitz at Circa Las Vegas. More details and discounted rooms available online at sasportstar.com.
Looking for the ultimate bar experience? I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. Plus, catch the biggest sports events on massive 10-foot screens. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive near Wurzbach in 10.
Little Metallica going on there. It'll like that. Not bad on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, pretty good going into the weekend song, that Metallica thing. You know, Minix is up in New York seeing the Foo Fighters for about the, 200th time. You think they'll be any different?
Yeah, this is the 100th time.
That's the 100th time.
He's seen Metallica 200
200 times for Metallica, but the Foo Fighters, yeah, just I hope he's having a good time. You know, I saw something the other day that weather was a problem with the Foo Fighters concert. So I guess they're playing like several shows there in New York, and they're playing where the Mets play at Citi Field. So he'll have a good time out there. Good for him. And he's full of duck, I suppose. He posted a picture earlier where he was eating or was in a restaurant where there's a bunch of ducks, cooked ducks hanging, but they still had their bill on there, which was kind of creepy. So hopefully he had some duck. He's ready to go and ready to see the Foo Fighters for the 100th time. I don't know if it's that many, but it's quite a few. Am I the last one to know that the WNBA All-Star game is this weekend? I suppose that
apparently you are.
Apparently I am, and I just see a story that popped up on my computer. And the headline says why Caitlin Clark isn't participating in the WNBA 3-point contest. I mean, obviously she's a hell of a 3-point shooter, would probably have a pretty good shot at winning that thing, but she says she's tired. She says she wants to prioritize rest. And I get that. Think about that. She didn't have a lot of rest between her Iowa days and then being drafted and then going to the WNBA, the season beginning and all of that. So she wants to prioritize rest. And it's going to hurt the 3-point contest. You got to figure, right? I mean, it's got to, because everybody would like to see her participate in that particular thing, but she's not going to. She wants to prioritize rest, and good for her. Good for her. She will play in the All-Star game, however, so that's a good thing for them. And a lot of people will still be looking at that. You know, we've been covering a lot of different things, and I see Gabe up there on the phone lines. We're going to get to you in a second, Gabe. Hang with us. 656 ESPN, 656-3776. A lot of it's been about Victor Wembanyama today, and because the folks at ESPN did a kind of a question and answer session amongst themselves and ranked what they think Wemby's going to do when it comes to how many MVP awards is he going to win, how many most valuable player, how many NBA championships is he going to win, and how many Olympic medals will he win? All of those things that they did. And I find it fascinating. One of the many questions was, will he spend his entire career in San Antonio? And the fact that they're thinking that it's kind of scary, because I've been thinking it, and people were thinking I'm nuts that, Victor, hey, he's in San Antonio. He's going to spend his whole career here. It's not going to be a question. In fact, we had a caller, I think, pledge not too long ago that was basically said that. And we had a little debate on there. But that scares me a little bit. And I think it should scare everybody a little bit. Look, the chances of him staying here in San Antonio are pretty good. He can get paid more here in San Antonio than anywhere else. But don't fool yourself into thinking that he won't be approached by every team in the NBA wanting to steal him away from San Antonio. You know it's going to happen. And the same way it happened with Tim Duncan when he almost left us for the Orlando Magic. It was very close, and fortunately things worked out well, and we know that we have 5 championship banners inside the Frostbank Center as we sit right now. How many championship banners will Wemby bring? Will he match Duncan's 5? I think I think he certainly could. Now, it all depends on the players that are brought in and around him. Duncan had some pretty good players around him for all of his career here in San Antonio, whether that was a David Robinson and a Sean Elliott, Tony Parker and Amani Ginobili. He had some good players. Wemby's going to have to get those players here too. And while he's got a Hall of Famer he's going to be playing with Chris Paul, it's a one-year rental. Harrison Barnes, the same thing. And so those players are not going to move forward and grow with Wemby. They're just here as a stopgap in year 2. And that just irritates the heck out of me. But it is what it is, and we're going into the season.
And this is 2 years old, so this number has changed. But just to let you know how unlikely it is. From just 2 years ago, only 12 current active NBA players have stayed with one team their whole career, minimum 7 seasons. Golden State has 4 of them.
Wow.
And now they only have 3 of them.
Interesting. Well, it's the players move. I mean, that's what they do. And some of them do. But it happens. And the days of players staying with teams their entire career, as you just heard Pledge say, are rarer and rarer. Hopefully that's not the case for Wemby, and that he and Pop will develop this great rapport, and he will stay here for his entire career. But keep in mind too, I mean, Pop most likely is not going to last the entire duration of Victor Wembanyama's career. So all of those things will play out. Look, and again, I'm not saying that to throw a wet blanket on your weekend plans or make you feel sad. It's just a reality that we're going to have to deal with as we move forward in Wemby's career. That's why it bothers me, and obviously it doesn't bother anybody else too much, but it bothers me the fact that, again, I think, we're spinning our wheels on Wemby's career as it stands. And so we'll go with that. Switching, yeah, I love that. Switching gears just a little bit to the NFL, I find it very fascinating, and it doesn't happen very often, quite frankly. the fact that the Houston Texans and Texan fans are very optimistic about their team. And most people, at least at this point in time, think that the Houston Texans will finish the season with a better record than the Dallas Cowboys. And I get why they would think that. I mean, look, the Texans have been aggressive. They've got a good young quarterback who they hope plays as well as he did last year, if not better. They've added some big pieces, some veteran pieces in Stephon Diggs, in Joe Mixon, Daniel Hunter, and others. And the expectations are huge. And I right now, if you had to tell me, I had to make a bet right now, I'm betting the Houston Texans to have more wins. Now, the AFC is tougher than the NFC, although the NFC has gotten tougher. That's for sure. Teams have improved, and I think the Cowboys are down on that list a little bit. When you're talking about the San Franciscos, the Detroit Lions, I think the Chicago Bears are going to be better. The Philadelphia Eagles are better. They've improved their team. So some teams in the NFC have improved. It's the NFC South. It's not so. Where's the
Atlanta?
Atlanta could be improved, and with their quarterback. And they've got some talent that, quite frankly, they didn't use last year. They just kind of forgot about Bijan Robinson and
Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
All of those guys. They forgot about them. And I don't think that Kirk Cousins will forget about him. He's a good, smart quarterback who will get the football to those guys. And that's what he'll do. So they'll be better. And they should probably win that division, I would assume. So the NFC is going to be a little bit tougher, but the AFC is brutal. I mean, it is absolutely brutal. You look at I think the best division in football right now has got to be the AFC North. When you're talking about Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, I think all four of those teams are going to be solid this year, depending on their quarterback play. With Cleveland, Deshaun Watson hasn't done a whole heck of a lot, but everything I'm hearing is the guy's healthy as he's been in a long time, and he looks good. But I think that division is going to be tough. I think the division Houston's in, I think Jacksonville's going to give them a run for their money. I'd like to say Tennessee is going to be good. I don't know. Indianapolis, it all depends on their quarterback. Is he injury prone? His style of play, does that lead him to more injuries? All of those things are going to come into play. And but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. I asked the question to John Machota, and I say this sincerely. I could see a scenario, depending on the play of Washington's quarterback. They added Austin Eckler. I think that was huge. That they could actually surprise some people and give Dallas a run for that second place in the NFC East. Because if I had to pick right now, I mean, how do you pick against Philadelphia? You can't, with the improvements that they made. But Machota thinks that Dallas is still a pretty talented team, and yes, they are, depending on what happens with CeeDee Lamb.
I mean, it kind of depends what your thought of Kellen Moore as a play caller is and what Jalen Hurts as a quarterback is.
Well, all of that is extremely true. Kellen Moore, I think this is his last opportunity, quite frankly. He didn't get it done. Mike McCarthy didn't like him there in Dallas. But he went to an LA Charger team that really their head coach was just a disaster and way in over his head, I think. So you go to Philadelphia, you're going to have some weapons to work with, and we'll see how he does. But I think it could be his last opportunity to say, get back in that Wonder Boy status.
What does it mean for Jalen Hurts, though?
Well,
we saw the wheels come off last year.
Well, that could be Jalen Hurts. I mean, maybe Jalen Hurts is not as good as we all thought that he would. He had a great year, that one year that they went to the Super Bowl. But, yeah, it wasn't – I mean, the wheels fell off of that team entirely.
It was the whole team, but the offense also struggled.
Remember, what did they start, 10-0? But even in those 10 wins, they looked wobbly.
There was question marks.
They looked wobbly, and then the wheels fell off, and it was just a disaster after that. So the NFL is going to be a lot of fun. College football coming up is going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, there's a lot of things to do. We're going to Circa at the end of August 22nd through the 25th, and we hope that you join us there. you can go to sasportstar.com. There's some discounted rooms there. My brother just texted me and said he just booked his room. So
nice.
Yeah, so he's going to be, and he did it at SA Sports Star. So go there and join us in Vegas. It's going to be a lot of fun. And they've got a Circa Survivor, Circa Million are back, and it all makes football season that much more entertaining. And so does fantasy football, by the way. And on our phone line right now at 656-ESPN, 656-3776, Gabe says he has a question about fantasy football, and I'll do my best, Gabe, to answer it.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I wish I was going to join you guys in Vegas next week. Sounds awesome. You guys have fun. But listening to you guys over the years, I know what you guys are good at. And so Minix is my Cowboys guy, but Pledge is my Texans guy. And Joe, you are my Titans guy. So I was wondering, are there some people that you guys are looking at on y'all's teams that maybe you could give me some insight on who I might be wanting to draft in first, second, third, maybe fourth round of my fantasy draft coming up in a couple of months?
I'm going to tell you, and I mean this in all sincerity, even though I love the guy and I discovered him, Jake Ferguson. I mean that in all and it is a tight end, but
your old man crush. Your old man crush.
Think about it though. With the Cowboys, once CD is there, if defenses take away CD, I guarantee you Dak Prescott is going to rely heavily on one Jake Ferguson, and I think he's in for a breakout year. Look, they've got nobody else. They got Brandon Cooks, who's supposed to play better, but after that, it's nuts. And so I think this guy, I really believe that Dak Prescott is going to feed Jake Ferguson a lot. That's who I would say. Who would you say, Pledge?
If you're going that early in a draft, Joe Mixon. I think he's going to get a ton of touches, both running the ball and receiving. He's going to be used in a McCaffrey-like way.
Well, and going that way, I think of Saquon Barkley too, because I think Philly will use him in that way. And then you could also look. I had Nick Chubb last year, and until he got hurt, he was a beast for Cleveland. So that's another guy. So there you go. For what it's worth, Gabe, that's the expert opinion that from me and Pledge.
No Titans? Are there no Tennessee Titans on the list?
No.
Not that high in the draft. Not that high.
No, they're not. They're not. The Titans
have a good weekend, guys.
Yeah, you too, Gabe. The Titans' offensive line sucks. That's the problem with that team right there. So, hey, Pledge, we made it. Although you got 30 minutes of a show to do.
I do.
Coming up. And what are you talking about?
Well, Houston Texans are probably one of the favorites in the NFL.
Uh-huh. Texans.
That and,
the Houston Texans show.
The Cowboys.
Is coming up
Stephen
next.
Jones made some comments.
Yeah, he did. It's coming up next here on San Antonio Sports Star. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
You're listening to The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM, Floresville.